Good snap. A very high, short punt. Derek Hinton Jr. tries to call for a fair catch.
Hits him.
And now it went off his hands. He falls on it. And I think SVSU will retain possession. He got bumped by one of the Indianapolis players, and then the ball took a hop right towards him. He was going to try to field it out of the air. He did a good job after it hit him to know that's a live football, and it does remain SVSU possession.
Never having been a punt returner, JJ, I will say this without firsthand experience. If you've determined you're not going to catch that ball, run away like it's on fire, because it can take a hop that'll catch you off guard. That's what happened, and the Cardinals really fortunate to avoid disaster.
Cardinals take over at their own 11-yard line, and Jairus Grissom, who started week 1, has not played since, does come out to lead the Cardinal offense here on 1st and 10. Cardinals line up in a 4-receiver package, 3 split wide to the right on 1st and 10. And on first down, Grissom back to pass. He's going to try to run now, and Indianapolis is ready for it. Cardinals went with a quarterback draw, but the Greyhounds were not fooled, and Grissom is going to lose about 3 yards on the carry.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Jairus had a little adjustment period here early on. He's only had 16 snaps all season.
So now 2nd and 13. Handoff to the near side, and a good job by Indianapolis to bottle it up, as that was Terrence Brown on the carry, and he was trying to get to the hole off a left guard, but one of the Indianapolis down linemen had fallen down but was right in his way, couldn't get to it, and so now SVSU looking at 3rd and 13 on their opening possession. No score, 12:15 to play first quarter.
And this is kind of be careful territory. Like everybody in the house is expecting the ball in the air.
Terrence Brown leaves the backfield. Grissom under pressure. He's going to be sacked. He's hit short of the goal line, driven back into it. Indianapolis ran a stunt up the middle that time, and I think it was Justin Thomas who came through unblocked, and Grissom did a good job to hold on to the football, but now SVSU is going to be marked at about their own 2-yard line, so they're not going to have the full 15 yards on the punt snap, and the Cardinals are going to be forced to punt it away.
And the punt returner set up just about at the 40-yard line of SVSU as this punt goes into a pretty decent breeze.
Goes to the right-footed punter, Hiker. He does get away a nice spiraling kick. It will be fielded by Indianapolis at their own 40-yard line, and the return man makes 1 man miss, makes 2 men miss, and finally brought down at the 25-yard line. Special teams tackle made by the punter, Ryan Hiker, but a good job on special teams there by Indianapolis, as the Greyhounds will take over for their second possession at the SVSU 25-yard line.
Okay, well, to say that that's ideal starting position would be an understatement, but that's kind of the battle of field position and punts, and the Cardinals not able to pick up a first down, set themselves with a bit of a deficit with their backs to their own end zone. So now, you talk about pressure on the defense, this is that time.
So Indianapolis takes over at the SVSU 25-yard line. Sukup sends a man in motion to the far side, and now they're going to pass it to him, but it is incomplete. Pass was intended for Marquez Gillum, and Sukup was just off target. Gillum was open over there.
He was open with a lot of real estate in front of him. A good pass, and he probably gets inside the 10.
So that is a break for SVSU. 11:04 to play. First quarter, no score here, but Indianapolis in very good field position at the SVSU 24-yard line. They'll send Gillum in motion again, and this time they'll hand it to Lewis. He's got lots of room off the left side. He's going to be brought down near the 15-yard line, as coming up to make the tackle was Jasper Beeler, but very well blocked by the right side of that Indianapolis offensive line. That's a gain of 9.
It's always intriguing what a man in motion does to the defense, and that time it looked like all the Cardinal eyes were following their slot receiver in motion to the left, and the play went back to the right, and nobody was near Lewis for about 7 or 8 yards.
So 3rd and 1. Sukup hands to Lewis again, running between the tackles, bounces off, he's got some room, and Lewis will take it in. Touchdown Indianapolis. That play designed to be run between the tackles, but Lewis then bounced it outside to the right and took it 15 yards, and the Greyhounds score first.
And we get an early taste of the talent of this young man, Lewis, and his ability to gain yardage after contact. He ran into the pile and did not panic, busted it outside, and there was nobody out there.
So Indianapolis scores first, takes the early 6-0 lead with the extra point forthcoming. Kick is on the way, and it is good. So it is now 7-0, Indianapolis over SVSU, 10:24 to play first quarter. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
Congratulations to our winner, and thank you to Al Serra for your continued support of Cardinal Athletics.
Check out United Financial Credit Union and see how we put you first. From youth accounts to retirement accounts, auto loans to home loans, we strive to provide long-term financial stability to our members and their families. Contact us today to learn more. Check out United Financial Credit Union.
JT Beam, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where SVSU now trailing 7-0. Beautiful day for football here in Cardinal Country. Blue skies overhead, just a few patchy clouds. It's also band day here, so you've got not only the SVSU marching band on the far side of the field, they're normally on the home side. They're on the far side of the field, along with a few hundred high school band members from various high schools across the state.
And they are, like everybody else here, looking for a reason to get loud. That short possession and drive by Indy quieted the crowd considerably.
Line drive kickoff. SVSU will field it right at the goal line. Howard trying to take it to the outside, spins out of one tackle and does not quite get to the 20-yard line. They'll mark him at the 19. Jaquan Howard, redshirt freshman out of Bolingbrook High School, right outside of Chicago. 5'7", 170 on the return that time. And SVSU will begin their second possession at their own 19, and it will be Jairus Grissom once again at the controls for SVSU offensively.
Time for a sustained drive, calling all the teams off the field for a moment.
Indianapolis was offsides on the kickoff.
I never saw the flag, but I guess we'll try it again.
Well, and if you're SVSU, that's a break because you're backed up inside your own 20-yard line, and you'll make Indianapolis kick it from 5 yards further back.
And a reminder that you can field a kick inside the 20-yard line and essentially fair catch it, and your team will get it at the 25, would have been the prudent thing to do on that last bobbled kick return. So, like you said, sometimes you get a second chance at life, and this is that moment.
And again, you also want to – that was a line drive kick. It wasn't one of those high, deep kicks, and so I'm also going to not fault Howard for trying to make a play. But now you've also got Beeler back there. We'll see what they can do here on another opportunity, as Indianapolis now will have to kick it from the 30-yard line. Hilger goes with a much shorter kick here to the near side. Howard fields it on the run across the 20, across the 25, across the 30 before he is finally brought down. That was Harwood on the tackle for Indianapolis, and a good job by Howard. And SVSU winds up with netting about 12 yards of field position.
That's an expensive offsides penalty against Indy. Let's see if SVSU now can do something with it. Again, they've run just 3 plays on offense thus far.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their own 31-yard line. Grissom Hands it off to Brown, makes one man miss, spins to the outside, gets out to the 35-yard line, gain of 4.
Boy, Indy is just teeing off on the running game on these first down plays. It's now happened twice, and that was only because of the elusiveness of Brown that they were able to get forward yardage.
3-receiver package here. Hand off to Brown, again coming to the near side, gets a nice block on the edge, gets across the 40 and out across the 42 to about the 44-yard line, and that will be enough for an SVSU first down.
Now you have this little option play, this little read option, and when you read your keys correctly, as happened that time with Grissom, it really opens up the running game because the defense has to account for both the quarterback and the running back, and they're spread a little thin.
First down here, Grissom back to pass, fires to the far side, has a man open, that's Kraft. He's got the first down into Indianapolis territory at the Greyhound 44. Eric Kraft, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore wideout from Waterford Kettering, runs a nice route. They'll mark him back at the 45, but it's a first down, and the Cardinals are quickly back to work. Grissom, he's going to go quarterback draw, runs up the middle, he's got some room, he dives forward, he's got another Cardinal first down. He is marked at the Indianapolis 34-yard line, gain of 11.
And you can tell the Cardinals spotted something in their prep for this game that favors pace. And they have gone to the line, not just gone to the line to stand there and look for a play. They have snapped the ball with 18 seconds left on the play clock.
3 receivers split wide to the left. Grissom back to pass. His first read isn't open, rolling to his right, and he throws it. Was that caught? No, incomplete. I'm glad it was incomplete from a Cardinal standpoint. Would have been a big loss on the play. It was thrown to Aaron Folks. He was well short of the line of scrimmage.
Sometimes field awareness leads you to let that ball go. That time we're just fortunate it was out of bounds. 2nd and 10.
Cardinals go with a bunch set right off left tackle to the left, and now hand off to Brown running left. He's got some room. He gets inside the 30 down to about the 28-yard line, gain of 6.
You know, JJ, sometimes there are plays that are misdirection plays, and then there are sometimes plays that are, hey, we're coming right this direction. I dare you to stop us. That's what happened there. Everybody, that was student body left.
And a good job blocking at the point of attack by SVSU allowed Brown to pick up 6 yards. So it's now 3rd and 4 from the Indianapolis 29-yard line. 7-0 Indianapolis leading, 7:50 to play here in the first quarter. Grissom back to pass here on 3rd down. Has a good pocket. Now he's going to take off and run to his right. He's got a penalty flag as well. Dives forward, and I think would have the first down. Well, now they're going to mark him down short of the line to gain. There also is a penalty flag back in the area where you would anticipate offensive holding.
Yeah, when your quarterback holds it that long, it is really hard to maintain a clean block. So, yeah, they did get the Cardinals for a hold there. That one goes on 73, Isaiah Daniels, and he was right in the middle of that whole moment of indecision by Grissom. It's almost unfair to your linemen. Once you get past that 4 count, they don't know where you are. They don't know what's happening, and it's almost inevitable that you're going to end up with something happening like a hold.
Isaiah Daniels getting the start at center today. Tyus Thompson out with an injury. Daniels, 6'3", 290-pound sophomore from Warren Mott High School down in suburban Detroit. Indianapolis does accept the penalty, so now SVSU looking at 3rd and 14 from the Indianapolis 38-yard line, and now you're going to get another penalty on SVSU as this is going to be a false start on the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was on Kerner Crecchiolo, 77 on the right side. As soon as he moved, he put his head in his hands. The snap count was on 3, and he went on 1. My guess is that'll result in some push-ups come Monday, or some sort of reminder. Well, this drive had great promise to it, and now it has hit the reverse button.
All the way back to the Indianapolis 43-yard line. 3rd and 18 from there. Grissom will hand to Brown, running between the tackles. He picks up about 4. And they are going to bring out the field goal unit. Well, now actually I say that with Ryan Hiker. That could be either one, punter or field goal. And he is going to line up in the punt position along with Brandon Fisher. So you got your right-footed punter and your left-footed punter. Cardinals would be kicking into the wind going this direction.
And that wind has gotten stronger even since the game has started. It's probably a good club and a half now if you're keeping track of your wedge distances.
So the Cardinals will try to pin the Greyhounds deep. They come to the left side with Fisher. He gets away a low knuckling kick. It's going out of bounds. And now we'll have to see where they spot it. Good job by Fisher. And they're going to mark it at the 11-yard line, maybe back at the 10. The official actually went forward, then backed up a step. And so a good job by Fisher to do his job to pin the Greyhounds deep.
A drive with great promise, and it just kind of ran into itself. Self-inflicted wounds. What did Coach Brady talk about in the pregame show? The avoidance of the costly penalties, and there were 2 of them back-to-back on that drive.
6:21 to play first quarter. Indianapolis leading 7-0. And the Greyhounds now take over at their own 10-yard line. Sukup trying to run this one, maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Tyree Hill, the defensive tackle for SVSU, making the stop right at the line, no gain.
I got the feeling that was not a designed quarterback run. Sukup looked to his right as if to toss it, and there was nobody home. Jaden Schleyback had already departed the premises, and good thing his quarterback didn't just release it blindly.
Second down. Sukup drops back to pass here, throws over the middle. He's got a man who's tackled at about the 17-yard line, short of the line to gain. That was Caleb Carver on the catch. Good tackle by Jacoby Sanders. And so it's going to be third down, third and about 3 coming up for Indianapolis. We've also got officials taking some time here. I did not see a flag.
I still don't see any laundry on the field. We have an announcement coming. Ineligible receiver went downfield a little early on that one, so that'll wipe out. Was a pretty good pickup for the Greyhounds.
So instead of third and about 3, now they're going to be looking at 2nd and 15.
A first quarter that I think both coaches would probably declare is a little bit sloppy.
Definitely some penalties on both sides here.
Well, you talk about a golden opportunity. Just a few minutes ago, the Cardinals were backed up to their own end zone, and now they have a chance to return the favor.
Second and 15. Sukup will send Lewis in motion. Drops back to pass. He's got time over the middle, and it is incomplete. Good coverage there by Bevier as he was stride for stride with Crowell, the wide receiver for Indianapolis. Good pass protection, not a bad ball, but just great coverage by Jaden Bevier, the redshirt freshman out of North Farmington.
And we can already tell there's going to have to be some adjustments made by defensive coordinator Dan McKeon because that's far too much time back there for Sukup. So fortunately, the Cardinals had excellent coverage downfield.
Cardinals are definitely moving things along the line of scrimmage right now. Just 3 down linemen for the Cardinals. Micah Kretzinger, a linebacker, is kind of in a stand-up end position as well.
Let's see if they bring some heat.
They do bring Kretzinger, and now Sukup is going to be hit and brought down for a sack inside the 5-yard line, as that will be Tyree Hill making the sack.
That was some timely heat, by the way, and when they come in with 3 down linemen and then they bring in a 4th as a kind of a blitzer, a freestanding blitzer, I don't know if the linemen on the Indy side had their assignments all down because he basically came through untouched.
Well, Micah Kretzinger, the middle linebacker, was lined up kind of in a stand-up right defensive end, but to your point, Bill, then he came all the way around and came in at the center gap. Cardinals bring pressure. The punt is away. High spiraling kick. Derek Hinton Jr. calls for a fair catch and makes it, but in Indianapolis territory, they will mark it at the 48-yard line of the Greyhounds, and so the Cardinals will take over there, trailing 7-0, 4:33 to play first quarter.
That was an excellent defensive hold and one that was much needed, especially with that field position potential. And even a good punt with the wind didn't get over the midfield stripe. So the Cardinals now in a really good position and a different look now behind center.
Mike O'Horo checks in at quarterback. And he's going to pass on first down. It's thrown high. Bryant makes the catch, but he's going to lose yardage. O'Horo's pass was just a little bit too tall for the 5'8" Derek Bryant, the sophomore slot receiver out of St. Petersburg, Florida.
We have seen a few flare passes today from both teams that, had they been accurate, would have resulted in a pretty good pickup. And that one definitely threw the receiver off balance, and there was no chance that was going forward. Interested to see the quarterback rotation here with O'Horo coming in.
O'Horo did a solid job for the Cardinals last week in their loss at Truman State. 2nd and 12, handoff to Amos, but before the play, we've got a false start coming up against SVSU, and this is too many penalties for the Cardinals here in this first quarter.
You and I, JJ, we search to find hair to pull out in frustrating moments, and I search in vain.
As do I.
I don't know if Coach Brady, having just talked about this with you on the pregame show, I don't know if he snapped a couple of pens by now or if there's an endangered blackboard in the locker room at halftime, but there will be a point made that we just talked about this all week long, guys. We're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Taylor checks in at quarterback. He throws over the middle. Caught. Sam Dursa making the reception. And that'll be a gain of 8. So on 2nd and 17, the Cardinals do get about half of it. And it'll now be 3rd and 9 from the Indianapolis 47-yard line. Taylor stays in at quarterback. Play action. Has time. He's going to fire deep down the left side, looking for Derek Hinton Jr., and it's broken up. Nice coverage by Landry Mavungu, the defensive back for Indianapolis. And it looks like SVSU has their offense out there. Now they're going to bring the punt unit out there.
That ball was well thrown, and Mavungu really fortunate. He never turned around to look for the ball. It just hit him. And I'm not claiming that he interfered. He just was in the right place at the right time.
Didn't turn his head around. Did get that right arm in there so that the pass hit that right arm as he could see where Hinton was looking to make the play, and did do a good job breaking up the pass. Ryan Hiker angling this kick to the far side, and this one will go out of bounds in between the 15 and 10-yard line. Well, actually, they'll spot it right at the 15. And so Indianapolis will take over there, leading SVSU 7-0, 3:03 to play here in the opening quarter.
And we are now able to see that the Cardinals are still searching for offensive rhythm. We, in that particular series, saw 2 different quarterbacks trying to get something going. And in the opening series, of course, we saw Grissom return. So interesting to see how they will determine who will be behind center because each of those guys brings a different skill set to the equation.
And that's another area where, again, we've been talking about penalties, but as you mentioned and Coach Brady mentioned, certainly that was a key factor that hurt the Cardinals a week ago. It's a lot harder to find that rhythm on offense when you have penalties go against you as well, because it throws off the rhythm. It throws off those down and distance situations.
I would have to think that conversation taking place on the sidelines now and up here in the press box with the coaching staff, where Brett Ekins, the offensive coordinator, is overseeing all of that effort. I got to think that at some point they will find the gaps. They will find the weak spots as you continue to prod. Now, at the end of that series, as the Cardinals brought in Taylor at quarterback, they brought him in to throw the ball. So they're trying to test things out deep, and perhaps he's their best deep arm. We'll see what happens the next time SVSU gets the ball back. And right now, with just a touchdown gap between the two teams, this is every possession is super important.
Greyhounds take over at their own 15-yard line. Sukup from the shotgun. On first down, passes to the near side, and a great open field tackle made over there by SVSU, as that was Dante Barthwell making the tackle for loss on the completed pass.
You talk about one-on-one tackle ability. That was do or die right there.
And Dante Barthwell played running back for SVSU last season, but with Nick Whiteside moving on to the Washington Commanders in their practice squad, they moved Barthwell over to that cornerback position, made a great play right there, loss of 2. 2nd and 12, Sukup rolling to his left, looking, now he's going to take off and run, and he'll be forced out of bounds after a short gain as he was being chased by Jamarlo Sykes, and then Elijah Gordon also came and helped make sure that he went out of bounds after a short gain.
Well, here we go again. You got a big third down and a chance to keep your opponent sort of pinned back deep in their own territory.
And Indianapolis is changing offensively, so SVSU will rotate defensively, get a fresh set of defensive linemen in there. Also, Mikey Woolridge checks in. He's going to be in that stand-up end position for SVSU defensively on this series. 3rd and 7 for Indianapolis. Sukup back to pass. He's going to throw deep over the middle, and it's broken up. Good play by Jacoby Sanders. Almost had a chance to make an interception. He did break up the pass, and Indianapolis will once again be forced to punt.
A lot of time for Sukup, but that's because the Cardinals dropped back extra coverage, and, man, it's fun to watch. A member of the secondary watching the quarterback's eyes, because that almost resulted in an interception and a very good pass breakup nonetheless.
Cardinals fly from right to left here in the first quarter, so going into the breeze. Cardinals will have the breeze at their back in the second quarter. High, very short kick. Cardinals are going to have to get out of the way of this one. Derek Hinton Jr., wow. That is a quality fair catch in traffic by Derek Hinton Jr. at the Indianapolis 49-yard line.
That was making a catch in a phone booth with people rocking the phone booth. Very short kick, especially with the wind behind your back. So the Cardinals fortunate again. They're starting this possession on the Indy side of the field, and Grissom back in at quarterback.
See if the Cardinals can get some momentum going on offense. Had a nice drive on their second possession, but then it stalled when it got into Indy territory, and the Cardinals had a couple of untimely penalties. Cardinals line up this time in a 3-receiver package. You've got Kraft and Folk split wide to the left. You've got Derek Hinton Jr. split wide to the right. Terrence Brown in at running back for SVSU. Grissom on first down, hands to Brown. Nice stutter step move, and then he's out to the 46-yard line for a gain of 3. Tackle made that time by the linebacker KJ Rodebush, redshirt junior out of Tipton, Indiana.
Cardinals still going sans huddle, although not quite as rapidly as we saw in the first couple of series. They are looking to the sidelines for the play call and then assembling the formation accordingly.
2nd and 7. Grissom from the shotgun. Play action rolling to his right. He's got time, throws to the far side. He's got a man, and it's caught down at the 25-yard line. I believe that's Folks on the reception for SVSU.
Nice little play design. I think most of the defense had their attention on the tight end who had just slipped out of the backfield and did not pay attention to Folks downfield. First down at the 26.
Cardinals do get to the line quickly here. And Grissom, play action. He's forced out of the pocket, rolling to his right. He's now just going to have to throw this one away. Good job by Indianapolis to get pressure up the middle that time. And Grissom had to roll and could not allow that play to develop.
When you see 6'1", 273 rumbling after you in the form of Dylan Shelton, number 92 for Indy, you'd get running too. I'd throw that ball away real quick. He seemed to get through, slip through the left side of the Cardinal offensive line and was in hot pursuit of Grissom. I don't think he was in any danger of catching Grissom, but certainly applied the pressure.
2nd and 10 for the Cardinals now. Grissom, hands off to Brown, runs off the left side this time. Good leg drive to push the pile down to the 20, maybe the 19-yard line, so a gain of 7. And the Cardinals do not have to snap it again here in the first quarter. It will be 3rd down. See what Ryan Brady elects to do here. Again, the Cardinals, if they flip the field, would get the wind at their back. And it looks like now they are going to let that first quarter clock expire.
Not sure they were aware of it, but they did either way.
So at the end of 15 minutes of football, Indianapolis leading SVSU 7-0. Cardinals will have it in the red zone on 3rd down when we return. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
third participant will then attempt a field goal. If the kick is good, they will be officiating it to Buffalo Wild Wings.
There's a great variance between the printed numbers on the roster and the people on the field. I would like to think that Corey could maybe tighten that up a little bit, because now I'm like, wait, it's not here, it's not there, it's not. I don't know how it got off, but it's even Brown. Brown's listed as 21 on the 2 deep.
Gigi Beam, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium as we begin the second quarter. It is SVSU trailing Indianapolis 7-0, but the Cardinals will have it 3rd and 3 from the Indianapolis 19-yard line as we begin this second quarter. And here in the second, Cardinals in their home all-red uniforms today, red pants, red jerseys for the Cardinals. They will be flying from left to right.
Tyler Amos in at running back now, but next to Grissom here on 3rd and short.
And you've got Folks and Hinton split wide to the right, Kraft split wide to the left. And Grissom's going to run to the left. He's got a little bit of room. He picked up some yardage, but he's going to be short of the first down.
This will be an interesting decision. We are going to look at about 4th and 1.5. And I do see field goal team coming in.
That was a designed quarterback run. And as you said, Cardinals needed 3, got about half of that, about 1.5 yards. And so SVSU will bring out the field goal unit. This will be a 35-yard attempt from just inside the left hash for the right-footed place kicker, Ryan Hiker. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on the way. And it is good. So SVSU is now on the board. Indianapolis still leading 7-3, 14-17 to play first half. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
Do they give you quarter-by-quarter stats or just halftime stats?
Just, yeah, I didn't get any. I haven't been getting printouts.
Okay.
I do have the live stats over here, too.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
I'm curious to know what Brown is rushing for right now against Lewis.
7 for 34.
34, Lewis. Yeah, okay. Only 3 carries for Lewis? Really? That'll change.
J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium. SVSU kicking off after making the field goal. Indianapolis on the return, coming down the near side. And Brady Devereaux with a nice special teams tackle to bring down the return man, Caney, after a return out near the 25-yard line. We've also got a penalty flag back where the ball was kicked. Now remember, when Indianapolis was kicking this direction, we had an offsides called against Indianapolis. I wonder if we're going to get something similar here against SVSU.
I don't know what else it could be back in that part of the field. Re-kick.
And so just like SVSU did, after they were bottled up on the return, they made Indianapolis re-kick. It wound up being a net 12-yard pickup for SVSU in that circumstance. Indianapolis now will make SVSU kick off instead of from the 35, from the 30.
Now, I know that the big number that matters is the score on the scoreboard, but I think there's a sub-battle going on today between the running backs, the featured running backs, between Brown for SVSU and Lewis for Indianapolis. Lewis, of course, coming in as one of the leading rushers in his conference. I was surprised during the commercial break to look over at the stats and see that Lewis only has 3 carries. He has the touchdown in the game, but he's only touched it 3 times. I expect that number to change quite considerably on this possession. We'll keep an eye on it and see if maybe the Cardinals are keying on him, taking him out of the offense a little bit.
Ryan Hiker kicking off for SVSU, 5 yards further deep. Gets a very good foot to this one. Very high kick, fielded at the 12-yard line by Indianapolis. And a nice return here. We'll get it out across the 30-yard line. So Indianapolis does wind up with better field position. That was Marquez Gillum on the return. So instead of the 25, Indy will take over at about the 32, maybe the 33.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of adding up of penalty yardage at halftime for both teams. I think in both locker rooms, the coaches are going to be preaching clean play. The offsides on a kick is a completely unforced error, and those yards count.
And now we've seen one each way.
Yeah, unusual call.
On first down here, handoff to the far side. SVSU bottles it up, and then a big hit delivered on the ball carrier, Jaden Schlebach, after a gain of about 2. Alfred Daly Jr. on the stop, the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week back in Week 1 for his contributions in SVSU's win over Winona State.
Schlebach checks out to go find all of his parts, and Lewis now comes back in. He got hit hard.
Pistol formation this time, and Sukup will go play action to Lewis. He's going to throw over the middle, and it's broken up, almost intercepted. Great break on the ball that time by SVSU. I think that was Jacoby Sanders. Yes, it was.
Jacoby nearly came up with the play of the game.
That's 2 today where he's just made that break
Yeah.
on the ball and has gotten there right as the ball arrives. He's broken up both passes, but just a half beat sooner and he would have an interception in each instance.
It's a gamble, but it paid off.
3rd and 8, Sukup back to pass. He's under pressure, rolling to his right. He's now going to take off, and he's going to throw it deep. He's got a man open downfield. It's caught inside the 30-yard line, inside the 20, inside the 15, still on his feet. Coming to the near side. Here comes Indianapolis all the way. Touchdown, Greyhounds. Pass was caught by Alonzo Derrick.
Incredible. I think everybody in the building thought that Sukup was going out of bounds. He actually threw a jump pass. He's on his sidelines, jumps in the air and heaves it, and nobody was anywhere in the vicinity of the receiver, and that turned into the worst possible scenario that SVSU could have imagined. I cannot believe that went to the house.
66-yard touchdown for Indianapolis as they answer the field goal converted by SVSU a moment ago.
That's a killer. That's a tough one right there.
Colin Seymour coming on to attempt the extra point. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on the way, and it is good. So Indianapolis now on top 14-3, 13:08 to play second quarter. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
That was 6, right?
Who caught it?
Yeah.
5, I thought. I thought that was Alonzo.
Was it Derrick?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, they don't have a 6.
That's what I was thinking too. Oh, that just exploded out of nothing. A jump pass.
J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where Alonzo Derrick with the 66-yard touchdown reception has put Indianapolis on top by 2 scores, 14-3, 13:08 to play second quarter. Kick coming to the near side, and this one will go out of bounds, so good decision there by Derek Bryant. And so SVSU will get to bring it out to the 35-yard line. Cardinals did get a good drive on their last possession, had to settle for the field goal, but they made it, and we'll see if they can find that rhythm again here as they regain possession.
And you'll also get a chance to see on the Cardinals sidelines coaches going up and down the lineup of guys and trying to reinfuse some energy. That long play took a little bit of gas out of everybody because it looked like Sukup was completely hemmed in, and somehow the magic heave ends up in a touchdown. Now the Cardinals need to respond. They can't be knocked back on their heels. They need to respond.
Jairus Grissom in at quarterback. He's taken most of the snaps here in the first half. 3-receiver package. Grissom, play action. Coming to the near side, has a man open. It's Derek Hinton Jr. makes the catch. He'll be shoved out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down. So that was just a quick hitter to the near side with a gain of 12.
Well, in that corner, Landry Mavungu does not know what to do with Hinton. That was a simple stutter stop and curl back, and Mavungu was 12 yards down the field. He just got torched on that move.
On first down here, handoff to Brown, breaks a tackle in the backfield, now turns up field and stays on his feet to get out of bounds near the 50-yard line. As Indianapolis got good upfield penetration, but Brown avoided it to pick up a gain of 3.
Cardinals fortunate not to get a little push in the back call there that sprung that run around the corner by Aaron Folks. So you take it when you can get it, pick up the 3 yards, and move on.
2nd and 7, 3 receivers split wide to the left. Grissom back to pass. They're trying to set up the screen, and he's under heavy pressure, and now he's just got to throw it away. He did have Derek Hinton Jr., an eligible receiver in the vicinity. You got to try to allow that play to develop a little bit. That time, 2 defensive tackles for Indianapolis came right up the middle, and Grissom had no time to let the screen play unfold.
Well, in fairness to Grissom, the other part of that screen not working is that nose tackle Keon Willis had a bear hug around Hinton. It's awfully tough to hit your receiver if he's being embraced by a member of the defense. So that should have been defensive holding on that play.
Instead, it's 3rd and 7 for SVSU from right at midfield. Grissom, play action, throwing over the middle, and a nice leaping catch by Derek Hinton. First down, SVSU, gain of 9.
Boy, what a good route run by Hinton. How often do you watch football and it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and the receiver runs a 6-yard pattern and gets tackled on the spot? Hinton knew where the marker was, ran right to the spot, and a really good pass by Grissom.
So the Cardinals with a big conversion there on 3rd and 7, now in Indianapolis territory at the Greyhound 41. And here they'll give it to Folks on the end around, and he's going to be brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Good job by Indianapolis to react to that play and not allow Folks to turn up field.
I think one of the defenders in on that play is still down on his own sidelines. Sand Flowers, 23, just kind of scooted off the field. That play took a long time to develop. I don't think Folks had enough opportunity to cut it upfield.
Sets up 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals. Grissom will he's going to fake the pitch. He's going to run to the near side, and he dives forward to about the 38-yard line, gain of 3. So it's going to set up another 3rd down for SVSU. 10:45 to play, second quarter. Indianapolis leading SVSU 14-3.
Yeah, JJ, as choppy as this first half has been, if the Cardinals can punch one in the end zone here and get right back in it, it would be a huge momentum shift.
Grissom has time here, throws deep over the middle, and it's caught by Derek Hinton Jr., holds on through a tackle, and spins forward down to the 25-yard line.
Boy, did Hinton take a pop. In fact, he is slow getting up. Took a huge hit, stayed on his feet, spun out of the tackle, goes to the 25, and then limps off the field. That was a tremendous athletic play.
We've also got an injured Greyhound back at midfield. So Derek Hinton Jr. made another clutch catch. Back-to-back conversions on 3rd and 7 from Grissom to Hinton. Keeps this drive alive for SVSU. Hinton has to check out for at least a moment, and Kevin Swift has checked in at wide receiver for SVSU. And then we've also got an injured Greyhound back at midfield. I believe this is one of the defensive linemen for Indy.
Hinton, by the way, comes into this game through 3 games with a total of 8 catches for 111 yards. I think he is going to have his strongest, he may already have his strongest game of the year with what has happened to this point. The injured player for Indy gets up off the field, running off under his own power. That's Aaron Bennett, the defensive end. And as we look over at the Cardinals sideline, it looks like Hinton has kind of caught his breath. And
he's back on the field.
Yeah.
Again, with that break in the action, it gave him, as you said, just enough time to catch his breath, collect himself, and after that big grab on third down, he's now has 3 catches for 35 yards on the day, and the Cardinals have it 1st and 10 from the Indianapolis 24.
And a different quarterback in the game.
Mike O'Horo has checked back in, and Tyler Amos has checked in at running back. O'Horo keeps it himself, running to the left side. Good surge by the left part of that offensive line, and the Cardinals pick up 4 yards.
And that was just straight up design, quarterback keep play. Told the lineman, move the pile and I will follow you.
Well, and again, Aaron Barnett, the right defensive end for Indianapolis, has checked out, and the Cardinals ran right at his backup on that play. 2nd and 6. O'Horo's going to keep it himself, running between the tackles, and he's going to get down to about the 17-yard line, gain of 3.
And now, after those 2 consecutive running plays by the quarterback, Grissom heads back onto the field. O'Horo comes out, and it was just a kind of a little change-up, so to speak, to catch the defense maybe all adjusted for speed and rollout plays, and 2 plays in a row. It just comes right down their throat.
3rd and 3 for the Cardinals now from the Indianapolis 17-yard line. Tyler Amos has checked out at running back. Terrence Brown has checked back in.
Slot receivers unguarded right now.
Grissom will keep it himself, loses the football, and it's picked up by Indianapolis. Grissom was trying to fake the handoff to Brown. He left it out there, never got it fully secured coming back, and that is a costly turnover in the red zone for SVSU.
Ouch. That's my professional color commentary on that particular play. Ouch. Because everything was rolling the Cardinals' direction, and the ball hits the carpet. And again, we mentioned this at the beginning of the game. Indy comes in not having turned the ball over all season. There have been a couple of close calls in this game, but now you see some of that difference of protecting the ball and protecting the lead for Indy.
They're on top 14-3. They take over at their own 20-yard line, 8:38 to play, second quarter. Sukup back to pass on first down. Forced out of the pocket. Now he's going to be hit by Jacob Spencer for a sack back at the 14-yard line.
They have been knocking on the door of getting to Sukup throughout this first half. Good to see Spencer finally get home. Big loss on the play because Sukup had rolled back. He thought away from danger, and instead the pursuit came from the backside.
So now 2nd and 16 for Indianapolis. Sukup will throw over the middle, has a receiver, makes the catch. He'll be short of the line to gain. Dante Barthwell on the tackle after the pass was caught by Alonzo Derrick, who had the big touchdown a moment ago.
I was going to say, if that play looks familiar, that was because of the first strike of the game, which was on that slant, and the tackle was missed. So good job wrapping up that time. Now 3rd and about 3.
See if the Cardinals can come up with a big play here defensively after that quick change following the turnover. Sukup brings a man in motion. He'll hand it off. Nice stutter step move and a huge hole up the middle. Here goes Schleybaugh, and he's finally brought down by Devereaux, but not before he gets inside SVSU territory. I should say Schleybaugh on the carry, and a huge hole off left guard. Big play for Indianapolis.
You count on seeing Lewis in the game for moments like that, and instead they bring in Schlebach and busts one right off of left guard. And probably if he had Lewis's speed, he scores.
Still a big gain on the play, as Indianapolis now all the way down to the SVSU 36-yard line. Sukup hands it off to the far side. That was Anthony Crowell, the wide receiver who came in motion, took the handoff, picks up about 3. That was a 36-yard carry by Schlebach a moment ago.
I think, JJ, some of what we are seeing as we roll down to near the 6-minute mark and a half is Indy starting to feel like they can run the ball a little bit. And we will see if they continue attempting to exploit that between the tackles.
2nd and 7. Here, Sukup rolling to his right. He's got a spy on him. He tries that jump pass again, and now we're going to get penalty flags coming on SVSU. So Sukup, that time forced out of the pocket. He did have a spy on him, so he wasn't going to be able to run upfield, and instead, right before he goes out of bounds, he jumps, throws it downfield, and then Dante Barthwell made contact with the intended receiver for Indianapolis, and I think this is going to be pass interference against SVSU.
Yeah, and it's a legitimate call. I mean, Barthwell literally just ran into the receiver, having never turned around to see where the ball was, and that's one of the hardest disciplines for a safety or a cornerback is when you see that receiver running by you. You got to peek and see where the ball is, because if you just run into him or you think you're defending the pass without identifying where the ball is, that yellow flag is going to come out every single time, and that one was a good call and a first down by way of penalty for Indy.
All the way down to the SVSU 18. Handoff here to Lewis, hit at the line of scrimmage, does spin his way down to the 16-yard line for a gain of 2. Leonard Henry, the defensive end for the Cardinals, in on the tackle that time. Cardinals need to try to keep Indy out of the end zone here. Cardinals trailing 14-3, 5:40 to play in the second quarter. Second and 8 coming up for the Greyhounds. 3 receivers split wide to the left. Blitz coming. Sukup rolling to his right. He's going to throw this one away. Good job by Brandon Rawls, who came on the blitz from the backside. And then also a good job, I think that was Barthwell, who actually came in that time and made sure that the quarterback couldn't get upfield.
I don't think Sukup had any idea what happened to his intended receivers. It looked like that play was busted pretty early on. Somebody ran a route that wasn't called, and he was kind of left on an island.
He was rolling to his right, and all the routes went to the left.
Had he not gotten that ball back to the line of scrimmage, there would have been grounding called, because there really was not a white jersey anywhere on that side of the field.
And Indianapolis is going to have to call a timeout here. Chris Keevers, the 5th-year head coach for Indianapolis, calls that timeout, stops the clock, 5:19 to play here in the second quarter. Indianapolis leading 14-3. Big play coming up here, as it will be 3rd and 8 for Indianapolis from the SVSU 16-yard line.
This is the drive that continues after the turnover, so it's not hard to identify where the issues have taken place today for the Cardinals. It has been penalties and it has been turnovers that have been getting them, and a stop here would be a huge blessing for this defense, because they you can bend but not break only so often.
We will pause for station identification. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. J.J. Boehm, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium. 14-3 our score. Indianapolis in the lead. 5:19 to play second quarter. Dan McEwen, the SVSU defensive coordinator, now walking back to the sidelines after exhorting his troops, hoping they can come up with a big stop here on 3rd down. Sukup from the shotgun. Drops back to pass, just a 3-man rush. Now he's going to try to throw over the middle. It's caught And this will be enough for the first down. That was Derek on the reception. Sukup a few times today, you can see when the pass play breaks down and he gets outside of the pocket, that seems to be when he is most dangerous finding his receivers.
And he does not stay in the pocket a long time. So it's a quick evacuation route, and that time as he stepped up inside, I think the defense thought he's going to take off and run, and instead, pretty good pass down to the 6.
First and goal from there. Handoff to Lewis, running to the left side. He's tripped up, trying to struggle forward, finally driven back after a short gain.
I think that was may have been Schlayback.
You're correct. Good eyes by Bill Hobson.
Oh, don't count on that. But it's either number 2 or number 24. So I can at least tell you when there's a couple digits. And Schlayback, the one who broke the big run earlier in this drive. So I'm not surprised to see them going back to him.
6 foot, 189-pound sophomore from Dalton, Ohio.
Still in there.
Gained about 1.5 yards, so it's second and goal from the 4. He'll get the carry again, running to the right side this time, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. So the Greyhounds take advantage of the SVSU fumble on the other end and march 80 yards for the touchdown.
And, JJ, we talked early on about how we weren't really sure if this is the 16th best team in the nation in the rankings. I'm not saying that we have an answer to that, but they are capitalizing on their opponent's mistakes, and that's the sign of an effective offensive team.
Extra point is on the way, and it is good. So Indianapolis now leading 21-3, 3:55 to play here in the second quarter. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
Master Exteriors is your one-stop shop for top-notch windows, roofing, siding, gutters, decks, and installation. StormMaster will transform your home into the house you've been dreaming of. Their team of installers are fully licensed and insured employees, not subcontractors. StormMaster delivers exceptional workmanship and unparalleled customer satisfaction. StormMaster consultants will help you make the right decision for protecting your home and maximizing your value. Financing options are available. Call today for your free estimate.
J.J. Boehm, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium. Still 3:55 to play here in the first half. We'll see if the Cardinals can get something going to build some momentum into the locker room, as Indianapolis now has extended their lead to 21-3 over SVSU.
And here's the thing, JJ. The Cardinals have moved the ball. They have just then shot themselves in the foot. So you've got just under 4 minutes here to get something in the half, and then you get the ball back to start the second half. So all hope is not lost.
Derek Bryant on the return for SVSU, coming to the near side, still on his feet, now trying to get to the near side. He'll be brought down short of the 20-yard line. Good job by Indianapolis coming in waves, because Derek Bryant took a big hit near the 20-yard line, did not go down, but then could not find any running lane. And so the Cardinals will take over. We'll spot it, looks like, at the 19-yard line. And it will be Willie Taylor coming out at the controls for SVSU and the Cardinal offense.
Interesting. Trying to get some spark in the offense. They send out Taylor.
3-receiver package. Taylor has time here. He's going to fire deep down the middle, and it is incomplete. Was looking for Eric Kraft on the post, and he overthrew that pattern by a few yards.
I think partially responsible for him overthrowing that pattern was the proximity of a couple of defenders, and he ended up getting planted on his backside.
So Cardinals that time clearly trying to stretch the field, see if they can hit one over the top, but it's incomplete, so now 2nd and 10. Taylor looks to the sideline for the play call. Back to pass again, coming to the near side, incomplete. Pass short-hopped Derek Hinton Jr. He also had lost his footing on the route a little bit. It was there. Would have been, Hinton was open, I should say, and had the pass gotten to him, he would have been able to have at least 6 yards, but instead it's incomplete, and now the Cardinals looking at 3rd and 10.
I don't think there's a great deal of mystery that when Taylor's in the game, he's in there to throw the ball. That does not eat a lot of clock, though, if the passes are incomplete. So right now, still 3:37 to go in the half.
Taylor forced out of the pocket here. He's hit as he throws. Incomplete. It was right at one of the Indianapolis defenders. That was Cavante Houston, who, fortunately for SVSU, couldn't change his direction in time to get underneath it. But as you said, Bill, 3 quick incompletions, almost no time off the clock, and now SVSU has to punt it back to Indianapolis, who already leads 21-3.
And 2 plays in a row where Taylor was under heavy pressure. That time it was defensive end Justin Thomas who got to him and forced that fluttering pass that could have ended in disaster.
Ryan Hiker with a booming punt here. Fair catch called for and made. That was a tough backpedaling fair catch by Anthony Crowell for Indianapolis. I mean, Hiker with a great boot. He does flip field position.
By my terrible calculations, I had that at 58 yards in the air. Killed it.
He's got a big leg. We've seen it all season. That does help SVSU, because the other thing I'll tell you is that Crowell, you got to give him credit. That was not an easy punt to field. He did it. But now it also puts Indianapolis all the way back to their own 23-yard line. So now if SVSU can come up with a stop defensively, the Cardinals could get decent field position coming back. Lewis back in at running back, takes the carry. He gets across the 25, finally spun down at about the 27-yard line. That was Alfred Daly Jr. on the stop, and Ryan Brady quickly calls timeout.
Now, we have seen on a couple of carries by Lewis, he hits the pile and bounces outside. That time, kudos to Jasper Beeler, the free safety for SVSU, number 7, who stayed home. He stayed out on the edge, and so the bounce outside was not available. And if you can send that running back up into the pile, the big boys generally can clean up the mess. But you've got to stay in your lane, so to speak, and stay home so that there's no room for him to go around everybody. And that time, good job by Beeler.
And again, as you said, then Alfred Daly Jr., the linebacker, comes over, cleans up the tackle.
Yeah.
But that's because he wasn't able to take it all the way outside. So the Cardinals with a good defensive adjustment there. It was a 5-yard pickup. So this becomes a very important 2nd down for Indianapolis because SVSU used a timeout. Cardinals have 2 remaining. If they can stop Indianapolis here with no gain or maybe even a loss on 2nd down, then you can use another timeout. However, if Indianapolis picks up the 1st down, all of a sudden the Greyhounds then have the opportunity to try to get something and see if they can add to their 21-3 lead before halftime.
Interesting use of timeout at that point by Coach Brady. Let's see if the defense can make it worthwhile.
Sukup from the shotgun on 2nd and 5, throws to the far side, and a good job initially by SVSU to force it back to the middle, and then tackle is made by the defensive tackle, Tyree Hill, on the wide receiver screen for virtually no gain.
Marquez Gillum, the receiver, flares out to the right. Good pass, but by the time he kind of turned around and looked up, there were red shirts all over him. Good job of coverage by the Cardinal D. And now another timeout. Now you've got a pretty important 3rd down if you want to get this ball back before the half.
And they're actually going to call that a loss of a yard on the play. So, as you said, Ryan Brady gambled a little bit by calling the timeout after a 5-yard gain on 1st down, but now you get a 1-yard loss on 2nd down, so it's going to be 3rd and 6. And if you can get the stop, you will get the ball back. Last week, in their loss against Truman State, SVSU got the ball back right before the end of the half, executed the 1-minute drill to perfection, and was able to get a touchdown right before halftime.
Well, a couple of tendencies that we have seen from Indy in this first half on third down, there's generally speaking 2 plays they go with. One is Sukup rolling out to his right and then inventing a jump pass, or 2, they give it to Schleback and goes off the left side. Now, Schleback not in here. It's Lewis in the game. I will be interested to see if they flare one out to the right or roll Grissom out to the right. I'm sorry, Sukup out to the right.
3rd and 6, 3-receiver package. Sukup back to pass. Cardinals come with pressure up the middle. Pass thrown deep down the far side, and it's intercepted by Elijah Gordon. The sophomore out of Midland High makes the play, and the game's first turnover for SVSU defensively.
Man, Gordon playing a beautiful center field. You'll notice that in my tendency summary before that play, I didn't call for deep bomb, but Indy going for the kill on that. I mean, that's what that was all about. That was all or nothing. It gets picked. It serves as a punt for them, basically. So what a opportune time, and the first turnover of the year for Indianapolis.
So it does give the Cardinals a spark here. Cardinals have plenty of time.
Yes.
2:59 to play here in the first half. SVSU trailing Indianapolis 21-3. Grissom back in at quarterback for SVSU. On first down, now we've got a penalty flag. It was going to be a toss to Brown running left, but I think this is going to be a false start on SVSU given where the flag was thrown. So it is a false start on SVSU, as it looks like the center Isaiah Daniels had it where he did not snap it on the same snap count as everybody else was expecting. So it's going to be a 5-yard loss on the play and make it 1st and 15.
That is a toe stub that they did not need at this time. Unforced error.
Grissom back to pass. Pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Good job by Indianapolis. I will also say the intended target was Derek Bryant, and they had good bracket coverage on him as well.
Carice Crawford, number 3 for Indy, was sitting on that route, and had that pass not been knocked down, we might be describing a 30-yard touchdown return. So sometimes blessings can come in unique packages.
2nd and 15 for the Cardinals now. Grissom forced out of the pocket. He's going to take off and run. Does not break the line of scrimmage, though, and now finally throws it away. He had an opportunity to at least pick up a little bit of positive yardage on the scramble, elected to try to keep the play alive, and then before he went out of bounds, just threw it away. That's going to set up 3rd and 15 for SVSU from back at their own 30-yard line.
Well, the Greyhounds are getting to him instantly. They are twisting and doing some stunting up front, and somehow the assignments are not being picked up by the line. Grissom gets the snap, and he is almost instantly on running for his life. So some protection adjustments will have to be made, or it's going to be a really long afternoon for whoever is back there behind center.
Grissom rolling to his right here on 3rd and 15. He's going to fire deep. He's got a man down the near side. Just overthrown. Aaron Folks had gotten behind the secondary. Just could not quite catch up to the pass from Grissom.
We've had more possessions inside of a minute and a half than I ever thought was going to happen, with the use of timeouts and then the drive stalling out for both sides, the interception. Now with 2:38 to go, if you're SVSU, you really do have to come up with a stop. You cannot let them get any more points on the board this half.
Hiker gets away another high spiraling kick, and a fair catch made at the 25-yard line by Crowell for Indianapolis. And as you said, now just one timeout remaining for SVSU, 2 timeouts remaining for Indianapolis. Greyhounds leading SVSU 21-3, 2:32 to play here in the opening half. And as you said, Cardinals do not want to see this widen any further.
Well, and from a strategy standpoint, from the Indy side, you've got all kinds of time. I mean, there's 2:32. You got a couple timeouts. The clock will begin to stop on first downs inside of 2 minutes. So I don't think that's a concern. They still have the ground attack open to them.
Sukup brings Crowell in motion, hands to Lewis, running to the right, and gets a good push from the right side of his offensive line to bring it out to the 29-yard line. And defensive player for SVSU lost his helmet, so that's why there was a stoppage on the play.
Micah Kretzinger.
So he will check out. Brady Devereaux will check in at linebacker for SVSU on 2nd and 6. Clock is now moving once again. Sukup, play action. He's under pressure from Rawls. Rolls out to his right. Jump pass over the middle. Pass is caught, and he holds on despite a big hit from Jacoby Sanders. That was Brian Marshall on the catch for Indianapolis.
Man, they tell quarterbacks never throw back across your body to the middle of the field, and Sukup's made a living doing that today. That was another big conversion. Going against the grain into traffic, he completes it.
So now 1st and 10 for Indy from their own 43. Hand off to Lewis, running between the tackles. He's getting out near midfield. Schleibach, on the carry again. He picked up 6. Indianapolis not using any timeouts yet.
Minute 20.
Still have 2 of them. And it is once again Schleibach on the carry, or staying in, at running back after that carry of 6 yards. Sukup, play action this time. Going to fire deep down the middle. He's got a man open who makes the catch down at the 9-yard line. Was number 9, Kobe Lewis. And Indianapolis is going to have it 1st and goal.
That was a pretty nice throw by Sukup. It hung up in the breeze long enough that I thought maybe somebody would get over there to knock it away, but not to be. And now serious danger time for the Cardinals as you set up 1st and goal right on the 10. Clock now rolling at 45 seconds, and this is an important moment in this game, friends.
Indianapolis already leading 21-3. Sukup hands off to Lewis, stays on his feet, gets down to the 5. Alfred Daly Jr. had him wrapped up around the legs and did not let go. And now I believe Indianapolis will use a timeout to stop the clock with 24 seconds to play in the half. So that's their 2nd timeout. They've got one more. And SVSU desperately needs to keep the Greyhounds out of the end zone on this possession.
Let's look back at all of our football history and moments when 28-3 leads were given up. We have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, true.
Falcons fans get a little surly when you bring up that kind of thing. So there is precedent. I wouldn't want to rely on it, but there is precedent.
And I watched quarterback for SVSU by the name of Matt LaFleur lead his team after being down at the half 32-7 to IUP, rally his team in the second half for a 33-32 playoff victory. So stranger things have happened, but they are few and far between.
Well, Indy has largely cut down on its mistakes in this second quarter. I'm not saying they're playing pristine, clean football, but they haven't had the penalties that have really harmed their rhythm and stopped their drives. Unfortunately, the Cardinals have done those things, and it's bearing out on the scoreboard right now.
2nd and goal from the 5 for Indianapolis. Pistol formation. Sukup the quarterback. Lewis the deep tailback. It's fumbled! Who's got it? It was a direct snap to the quarterback that then he did not field cleanly. It went down to the ground.
I think he got back on it.
They now are stopping the clock. SVSU had a down lineman who got in there quickly. But I think yes, it was actually Lewis,
yeah,
the running back for Indianapolis, who was able to pounce on the loose football.
That was exactly what we were hoping for. We had put on our Christmas wish list and almost got it.
It was a good snap,
yeah,
but Sukup did not field it cleanly. It went down on the ground. And fortunately for the Greyhounds, the running back, Lewis, was able to get on it before the SVSU down lineman. I think it was Spencer who was coming in trying to get to it. It does back up Indianapolis to the 9-yard line, and it forces them to spend their final timeout. So now if you're Indianapolis, if you run a play that stays in the field of play, you will not have time to get your field goal unit out there with just 15 seconds to play.
Yeah, essentially, they've got to score because if it's fourth down, you can't run up and spike it either. You're not going to get – so this is the key play here at the end of the first half. Cardinal defense really needs to stand strong.
And again, a situation where chess matchup as well, because both coaching staffs know that situation. So we'll see what they call offensively and how SVSU responds defensively. 3rd and goal from the 9. Sukup rolling to his left. Now rolling back to his right, being chased. He's got defenders in front of him. He tries that jump pass again, and it's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
Kobe Lewis, another throwback across his body into traffic, a jump pass that you would not teach in Pop Warner, and Sukup has, well, he's done it pretty well. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. That play was well covered by the defense. The pressure was coming after Sukup. He rolls to his right, jump pass back across the middle, and a crushing blow to the Cardinals here with 4 seconds left in the half.
And now we've got movement on the extra point attempt. The kick is good. I think SVSU came across the line. It is preliminary signal offsides against SVSU, so Indianapolis has the option to enforce that on the kickoff. But I'll tell you what, you said it, Bill. It's something that is not common, but
well, it's not even allowed. Most coaches would pull you over by your face mask and sit you down and say, stop throwing back across your body. And here I think they give him another star on his helmet or something because that is – now, I will say this. If you can get your pressure to roll Sukup to his left, we haven't seen him complete a pass yet. It's everything rolling to his right and then throwing back across the field. But of their 4 touchdowns, you'll have to remind me, I think 2 of them have come from that same kind of a look, which is remarkable.
And again, both of them, he also doesn't plant.
No,
he jumps.
He's in the air.
He jumps and throws it back across his body, and not short passes either. I mean, well downfield. And twice, as you said, 2 out of the 4 touchdowns for Indianapolis have come that way here in the first half.
It makes you wonder if the coaches are going, no, yes, good throw.
Well, at this point,
I would be.
You definitely can see he has a lot of experience doing that and has had success doing that in the first half at least against SVSU. Indianapolis will kick off here, leading 28-3, high short kick to the far side, and SVSU will have one of the upbacks on the return, get it out across the 35-yard line, and that will be the final play of the half. So a big first half for Indianapolis as they lead SVSU 28-3. Back in a moment. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
Do you know total penalties, or is that on the running sheet?
I'll get it here.
Okay. How much halftime do we fill?
We'll do a quick recap and then send it back to the studio for a halftime feature that's pre-recorded.
Got it.
Master Exteriors is your one-stop shop for top-notch windows, roofing, siding, gutters, decks, and installation. StormMaster will transform your home into the house you've been dreaming of. Their team of installers are fully licensed and insured employees, not subcontractors. StormMaster delivers exceptional workmanship and unparalleled customer satisfaction. StormMaster consultants will help you make the right decision for protecting your home and maximizing your value. Financing options are available. Call today for your free estimate.
At least, yeah. J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where at the half, Indianapolis leading SVSU by a score of 28-3. Indianapolis getting 2 touchdowns in the final 4 minutes of the first half to really widen their lead going into the locker room. Right now, the 1983 GLIAC champion SVSU football team being introduced down on the field. Many of them back for the occasion. Happy to see them here celebrating the 40th anniversary of that GLIAC title.
It is always good to celebrate your heritage, your legacy, and those guys, they can remember, I bet, JJ, pretty much every play from every key game, except when they retell it now, the play gets more spectacular.
I have no doubt. And that's when game film was still shot on film.
Right.
And I am sure that it still exists somewhere, but it's a little harder to have people point that out than it might be in the digital era today.
For sure. Hey, when we take a look at the snapshot of this first half, there are some things that really jump off the page at you. For the Cardinals, 6 penalties for 45 yards. It felt like more than that because they came at such devastating moments and turned into good things for Indianapolis. So those penalties, while it doesn't look like they gave up a whole lot, they did. Each one of those penalties had a direct role in this 28-3 halftime score. And the balanced rushing attack from Indy, from Schlabach and Lewis, 5 carries, 49 yards for Schlabach, 7 carries, 45 yards for Lewis. The two of them together, they're kind of the workhorses of that offense, and it is truly showing here today. And then, I don't know what else to say about the quarterback, but Sukup's getting the job done. He is being accurate. He's doing it in an unorthodox way, but it's working. And Alonzo Derrick, 4 catches, 89 yards, is leading the receiving corps for Indianapolis.
And Indianapolis leading overall on the scoreboard by a score of 28-3. We will send it back to the studios for halftime. It's Battle of the Valley week coming up here at SVSU as the Cardinals will host Grand Valley in the football game next Saturday. The big fundraising competition going on across campus this week, so stay tuned. That's coming up. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. All right, Matt, we'll be off headset for a few minutes.
Good afternoon, Cardinal fans. Today for your halftime entertainment, the Cardinal Marching Band invites you to join us as we explore the Big Apple, New York City. Come with us as the Cardinals go to Broadway.
When they do the stats, they shorted Derek a touchdown.
Okay.
He had the 66-yard
Yeah, right.
touchdown.
That's scored.
So, yeah.
Okay. How long do we have, by the way? Good?
I think it's much better. I can always do another recap.
That's fine. Okay.
I don't even give it. I don't even bring forth effort. Like, I forget what. I think it was one of those scores where. Yeah, the quarterback scrambled around down here, and then he had running in. One of our defensive ends was just staying there in containment and watched him. He should have had it. But once you stop, you can't get momentum to get a catch anymore. I think they're been punching.
Broadway has had a profound and far-reaching impact on society. From its humble beginnings as a tool for entertainment and diversion, musical theater has grown to become a powerful force for social
Our
change.
defensive ends are
Musical theater has
undersized.
been used to tackle a wide range of social issues, from racism
And
and
the
sexism to
tackles we're
poverty
going
and
against
abuse.
are
In recent
just
years, it's
destroying
even
them.
been used to raise awareness about mental health
They're
and
getting
addiction.
destroyed.
Musical theater has the ability to reach people of all ages, backgrounds, and cultures. It has the power to educate, inspire, and entertain. It can make us laugh, cry, and think. Most importantly, musical theater has the ability to bring people together. In a world that is often divided by politics, religion, and ideology, musical theater provides a common ground where we all can come together and celebrate our shared humanity.
Next week's going to be 60 to nothing. If they can drop 64, 70 points, as they will.
Yes.
They really lost their opener. They're supposed to open up like 35 points. So we can't score and we have left over back. They're all drive killers.
Indianapolis to join us on the field today for a combined performance of 4 of your favorite Broadway tunes. Welcome, SVSU. We begin today with the finale from the 2002 hit musical, Hairspray. You Can't Stop the Beat.
J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where the first half on the scoreboard, all Indianapolis, as the Greyhounds lead SVSU by a score of 28-3. Other GLIAC football games this afternoon, Michigan Tech on the road at Upper Iowa, and it is Upper Iowa leading in that game by a score of 24-7. Truman State, who SVSU lost to last Saturday, went to Wayne State today, and Truman State defeated Wayne State by a final of 41-7. One other GLIAC game has gone final as well. Davenport with the win in a non-conference matchup with William Jewell. That game 55-27. Davenport with the win. Here in the first half, SVSU actually had the edge in time of possession, holding onto the football for 15-27, but Indianapolis 246 yards of total offense, SVSU just 119 yards of total offense, and 3 times SVSU got the football inside the Indianapolis 30-yard line, but only came away with 3 total points to show for it.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing that they are lamenting at halftime, along with, well, some of those drives were stopped because of penalties, but they're also going to be lamenting losing contain on receivers deep when Sukup is scrambling. That's really what has come back to bite the Cardinals on the defensive side, while on the offensive side, this momentum on a number of different drives kind of expired when they got to like the 30, and you can't have that, especially now as you come out for the second half and your back is against it and you've got to mount a remarkable comeback. You cannot waste any possessions. There are fewer possessions in the college game these days because of that running clock, and it doesn't stop for first downs, which means every time you get your hands on the ball, you've got to do good things with it, and that will be a marked change in the second half from what we saw in the first half if the Cardinals are to make a game out of this.
And as you said, we have already seen halves in the college football world this season where a team might only get 3 or 4 possessions in a half. So when you're trailing 28-3, as you said, it's already a big deficit, but for those who haven't been following these things closely, it does make a difference because it means you likely are going to have fewer total possessions per half compared to what the old rules were.
Which also means, I believe, we will see Indianapolis exploit that running game in the second half, because why not take the air out of the ball as best you can throughout the second half? Your opponent basically has to pull off a nearly unprecedented comeback to take you out. So, obviously, doesn't take a genius for me to say this, advantage Indianapolis. Does that mean the Cardinals are dead in the water? It does not. It means you come out and you play a much cleaner second half than you did a first half, and then we can get all of these bands to play the Cardinal fight song in a happy way at the end of the game.
It is band day here at SVSU. Many high school bands joining the SVSU marching band. That part has gone well. That part has been festive. We'll see if the Cardinals can do something about it on the football field here in the second half as they trail Indianapolis 28-3. Back in a moment. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
And they are right on pace. They average 486 per game. They have 246 at the half. It's wild. And the Cardinals are not on pace.
No. J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where we are just moments away from the second half, and Cardinals definitely are going to need to mount an important opening possession of the second half. If the Cardinals can put some points on the board, put the ball in the end zone, maybe get a little momentum, maybe put a little bit more pressure on Indianapolis. You don't want to put too much pressure on the opening possession of the second half, but this one does feel awfully important for SVSU coming out of the locker room.
And with good reason. It is. They are 4 scores behind, and they may only get 5 or 6 possessions the rest of this game. That doesn't leave a lot of margin for error. And as we mentioned a couple of moments ago, the very likely possibility is that Indianapolis will exploit that ground game a little bit. Interestingly enough, teams are often an accurate representation of the stats that they have, even if it's only through a couple of games. Indy's only 2-0, yet they have been averaging 486 yards of offense through those 2 games. So we come here right now and look at what the halftime numbers indicate. Well, they put up 246 in the first half, which my communications major math tells me comes out to 492 if nothing were to change. I believe that's going to change. What I'm saying is they have done what they do. They have moved the ball. Unfortunately, the Cardinals have not done what they normally do, which is play a little bit cleaner game. So this is the change that has to take place now. You get the ball coming right out of halftime. You've got to move it down. You've got to cash in because you probably have 5 or 6 possessions left this game.
And for the record, my math major background says that your arithmetic is correct.
Oh, man, I love Siri.
SVSU will get the football to start the second half. SVSU breaking out their all-red uniforms today for the first time this season. So you've got red jerseys, red pants, white numbers, blue helmets with red Cardinal insignias for SVSU. Indianapolis in their traveling all-white road uniforms today. Dark maroon numbers and silver trim, along with silver helmets for Indianapolis.
Indy's brought with them a couple dozen of their most diehard supporters.
This is a program that has made its bread and butter by picking up a lot of football players from the state of Indiana. So, again, not terribly far, but also not immediately in the vicinity. And that has been a key part. It was Coach Bartolomeo who really got them back to being a consistently winning program. And then he retired 5 years ago. Chris Keever's now in his 5th season as the head coach for Indianapolis, and he's gotten them to the playoffs twice already under his leadership.
Back-to-back Coach of the Year in that conference. So Keever's obviously making his mark in Indy and doing a great job at it.
SVSU, again, will receive the second half kickoff, trailing 28-3. Indy kicks off high, deep, and through the back of the end zone, and so SVSU will bring it out to the 25-yard line.
All right, we'll keep an eye on things like the quarterback rotation. Let's see what the coaching staff has discussed at the half, and either they tighten it up or they continue shuttling in different QBs along the way. But as we come out to start things, Jairus Grissom gathering the offense on the field.
And the Cardinals will come out in a 3-receiver package, so they keep a tight end in there. That's DeBrincat, and he is off tackle to the left. 2 receivers split wide left as well on 1st and 10. Grissom back to pass, throws to the right. Pass is caught by Kraft. That's a 6-yard hitch, so Cardinals do get a nice pickup, and then they are quickly back to the line. So that time they have all the formation to the left. They go to the single receiver to the right and pick up 6 yards. Grissom here, and we've got a little bit of
everybody
movement.
They were leaning forward in anticipation, and everybody kind of fell a half a step before the snap. It was a penalty in unison, and right out of the gate, it kind of feels a little familiar.
Cardinals were definitely trying to get some tempo going there, but as you said, everybody started leaning, and the ball hadn't been snapped yet.
Leads me to believe that the snap count was a little slower than they were anticipating.
So instead of 2nd and 4, looking at 2nd and 9, Grissom from the shotgun. He'll hand to Brown, running between the tackles. Almost found a nice cutback lane. He does get across the 30 out to the 31, so that'll be a gain of about 4. Sets up 3rd and 4. And the Cardinals are quickly back to the line here.
Indy scrambling to get their defense set.
3rd and 4. Grissom keeps it himself. He's got a lane. He's got the first down. That was a designed quarterback run off left tackle, and the Cardinals do move the chains. Terrence Brown will check out at running back. Tyler Amos checks back in, and that was an important 3rd down conversion on the first possession of the second half. SVSU trailing 28-3.
I don't anticipate a lot of punting going on this half for the Cardinals unless it's a dire situation.
Grissom rolling to his right, lost his footing, and then did he lose the football as well?
Bounced right back up into his hands. Untouched.
He came to his left initially, then was rolling back to his right. There was some running room over there had he chosen to try to run it, but he lost the football and fortunately got it back, but no gain on the play. So 2nd and 10 for SVSU from their own 37-yard line. Grissom has a good pocket here. He's looking over the middle, and it is incomplete through the hands of his intended receiver and then wound up in the hands of the deep safety, Jalen Gavon, for Indianapolis, who almost was able to come up with the interception.
That ball sailed a little bit on Grissom. He had a chance to hit Hinton and just went over top of him, and nearly a major problem.
Gavon, a transfer from Michigan Tech to Indianapolis.
He moved for the climate.
So now 3rd and 10 for the Cardinals. Grissom drops back, forced out of the pocket, rolling to his left, and it's incomplete. He was looking for his running back, Amos, but did not get it to him, and so the Cardinals get 1 first down, but now have to bring out the punt unit.
Redshirt freshman Cornell Branch IV, in hot pursuit of Grissom, nearly got to him, and again, that D-line is getting through almost instantly at the snap, and Grissom that time really had no time to make up his mind.
SVSU will be punting into the breeze here in the 3rd quarter. Hiker does get away a very high knuckling kick. Fair catch called for, but then not made, and then fielded by SVSU near the 30-yard line. Bevier got it on a hop, and so Indianapolis will take over there. 12:29 to play, 3rd quarter. Indy leading SVSU by a score of 28-3.
And I will be very, very surprised if we see the ball in the air on this possession, unless, of course, it was down and distance, kind of a thing on 3rd and long. But Indy has shown the ability to move the ball on the ground. They come back out here with Lewis standing next to Sukup, and the Cardinals are going to have to bow up here. They're going to have to step up.
18 carries for 87 yards as a team in the first half for Indy. Sukup does drop back to pass on first down. He's going deep down the far sideline, and it's caught, and this is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Alonzo Derrick.
Wow.
They surprised Bill.
Oh.
I think they surprised SVSU, and Indianapolis scores on a big play to start the second half.
JJ, if we had wagered lunch on that, I would be treating you to your restaurant of choice. Could not believe they came out and threw the deep ball on first down. They wanted to put this thing away, and that was a kill shot.
Elijah Gordon had single coverage, and he was in the vicinity, but Derek not only made the catch, he broke the attempted tackle, and Indianapolis has broken this game open even further as we start the third quarter. It's now 35-3 Indianapolis on top, 12:18 to play third quarter. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
Can't believe they did that. All right, I'm done predicting. Forever. Wow. This is a crushing. I'm not sure what Brady's yelling at the refs about. I don't know what that could be.
J.J. Bain, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium. Indianapolis gets a 70-yard touchdown from Gavin Sukup to Alonzo Derrick on their only play of the second half thus far. They now lead 35-3 with 12:18 to play third quarter. The kickoff from Indianapolis went out of bounds, so SVSU will bring it out to the 35-yard line. Mike O'Horo will check in at quarterback, and we'll see if SVSU can just start to get something going offensively, as the Cardinals only had 7 points last week in the road loss at Truman State, only have 3 points here early in the third quarter thus far. Toss coming to the near side to Derek Hinton Jr., and he's going to be dropped for a loss. Great individual effort there by Sam Flowers of Indianapolis out of Marist High School in Chicago. He read that one and dropped Hinton for a 5-yard loss.
And at some point, probably right about now, JJ, you start to try to check off some positives for the purposes of building towards next week.
It's a big one next week.
Yeah, you're unlikely to make a 35-3 comeback here.
O'Horo hit. He's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. He was looking downfield and might have had an opportunity because Derek Bryant was coming open, but before he could get rid of the pass, he was dropped for a sack. And so now SVSU going the wrong direction on these first 2 plays from scrimmage.
You might also see the Cardinals start to bring in some different legs, some fresh legs, give some playing time, and see if some guys might have some fight left in them. And protect your starters a little bit. This is not how anybody envisioned this afternoon playing out.
SVSU trailing 35-3, and they've got Grand Valley at home next week. Here's screen pass to Tyler Amos, but it was well defended by Indianapolis. They were ready for that. Making the play was Clay Schulte, and so SVSU is going to be forced to punt it once more. So SVSU, again, we knew coming into the season, Cardinals had a gauntlet through the first 6 weeks of the year. You're taking on a Winona State team that made the playoffs last year. Cardinals got that win in week 1. Then you've got the Axe Bowl against rival Northwood. Then you have Truman State, who just missed the playoffs last year. You've got Indianapolis, who made the playoffs last year. And then you've got Grand Valley and Ferris, who each made the playoffs last year. Punt here. Nice return being set up by Indianapolis. Still on his feet on the far side. Wrapped up at the 40-yard line. That is Anthony Crowell. As Indianapolis getting some good return yardage mixed in as well. It's all going right for the Greyhounds today.
I think that's a very apt description, as they seemingly have had their way with the Cardinals today. And I don't say that with any glee whatsoever. Like I said, nobody saw it playing out to this degree. Now you try to get some little things going in your direction. you start to see who's got some fight left in them.
On first down here, handoff to Lewis, running to the left side. He stood up after a gain of 2. And again, now you may see Indianapolis do a little bit more of what we anticipated to start the second half after getting that 70-yard touchdown pass. Just trying to grind down this clock, already leading 35-3 inside 10 minutes to play third quarter.
Yeah, that's only the second play Indy's run in this half.
Sukup back to pass. He's going to roll out, shovels it now underneath, and a good job coming back to the play by Leonard Henry to make the tackle on Derrick after a short gain.
That was quite a hit from behind. Ball carrier or the receiver lucky to be holding on to that.
Leonard Henry, the defensive end, did a good job reacting to the play. It was a wide receiver in Derrick who made the catch over the middle. Gain of 3, so it's now 3rd and 5. Handoff coming to the near side, and it was an option play and now incomplete. They gave it on the handoff to Derrick, and he was going to try to pass it to the near side, but he had nobody open and threw it out of bounds.
JJ, I'm not the 2-time coach of the year in any conference anywhere, but I don't know why you're running trick plays up 35-3 and potentially putting them on tape for some of your future opponents to see and prepare for. Now, that was executed quite poorly, but it's kind of a surprising play call just from the standpoint of you're kind of emptying your playbook at a time when you'd think you might want to hold a couple things in reserve.
Indianapolis will punt it from their 35-yard line. This one got up into the wind, and it does go into the end zone. You can see as soon as that football got kind of above the big berms here at Wick Stadium, it suddenly got some extra legs behind it and did sail into the end zone, so SVSU will bring it out to the 20-yard line. And it will be Willie Taylor who comes out at quarterback for SVSU. Cardinals have rotated all 3 quarterbacks today. Grissom's had the bulk of the work, but this time it will be Taylor.
Just looking for some rhythm.
On first down, Taylor back to pass, throws to the near side, caught by Derek Hinton. Knocked out of bounds near the 25-yard line along the near sideline. That'll be a gain of 5.
I'd say on the offensive side of the ball, Hinton is your most productive player today for the Cardinals.
On second down, incomplete. Taylor was looking for Ernest Sanders over the middle. So now it's going to be 3rd and 5. Ernest Sanders seeing his first game action of the season. Transfer from the University of Kentucky, originally out of Flint Beecher High School. Taylor rolling to his right here, has a man open, and it's caught by his tight end Williams. He's across the 40 and out near the 45-yard line. So Jalen Williams, the big 6'4", 250 tight end out of Belleville, making a nice catch, and the Cardinals move the chains.
That is a big young man moving with the ball. I don't think you want to get in the way of that freight train.
Handoff here to Johnson running to the right side. He's tripped up before he could get to the linebacker level. Got a yard, maybe 2 on the carry. Williams, part of that really successful high school program they've had down there at Belleville, and now in his redshirt sophomore season, seeing more snaps for SVSU. On second down, handoff to Johnson again. He's wrapped up from the backside. Did struggle forward for about a yard. But now it's going to be 3rd and 7 coming up.
And they'll run Brown back into the lineup.
35-3 our score. Indianapolis on top over Saginaw Valley. Three receivers split wide to the left. Brown back in at running back, as Bill mentioned. Now Derek Hinton Jr. will go in motion to the far side. Taylor, hit and sacked. He looked downfield initially, and his first receiver was covered. He's going to try to bounce it to the right and extend the play, but before he could do that, he was sacked, and that is the second sack today for Aaron Barnett.
And again, that's a defensive lineman, and that's not the result of a blitz. That's just dominance on the front four of the at the line of scrimmage, and that's literally what removed any chance, any time whatsoever for the play to develop.
And so SVSU will once again bring out the punt unit. This time going with the left-footed punter. Knuckling kick to the near side. Takes a little bit of an SVSU hop initially, and then Sam Durso will down it. Brandon Fisher handling that punting chore. And we'll see if the Cardinals can get things, as you said, Bill, at this point you're trying to get anything going in your direction, get any kind of momentum building that you can carry into next week's matchup in Battle of the Valleys against Grand Valley. Lakers have a bye week this week.
Early on.
Well, the GLIAC now down to 7 football playing members, and so you wind up with needing a lot of extra non-conference games. SVSU was able to fill their non-conference schedule. And so Grand Valley has a bye week. They are 2-1. Their only loss coming at Colorado School of Mines, who was a preseason top 5 program. And so they will bring that 2-1 record to SVSU next week. Right now, let's pause for station identification. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. J.T. Bain, Bill Hobson, back at Wick Stadium, where Indianapolis has really had their best showing of the season so far, leading SVSU now 35-3. They were 2-0 and number 16 in the nation coming in, but they have really played well here through 2.5 quarters. Sukup hands off to Schlebach up the middle on first down, running hard. He is wrapped up by Micah Kretzinger, number 6, not number 5, making the tackle, but not before Schlebach picks up 8 yards.
Any thought that we may have had pregame about whether that 2-0 record for Indy was a mirage has been clarified. They're pretty good.
They have looked very good. And again, Sukup, some of what he does at the quarterback position is unconventional, but it has been effective. 2nd and 2. Hand off to Schlebach again, and he's going to be wrapped up, but I think he got across the line to gain first. Timothy Alonso with the tackle for SVSU from his defensive tackle position, but it was enough for the first down. If you're just joining us, twice in the first half, Sukup, the quarterback for Indianapolis, rolling to his right, and then right before he gets to the sideline, he jumps, throws it deep downfield against his body back to the middle of the field, and finds his receiver for a touchdown.
You need to see the replay to understand it, folks, because it's against everything that's ever been coached, but he has done it well. To his credit, he's done it very well.
On 2nd down here, it's tipped and intercepted, picked off by Micah Kretzinger. He breaks a tackle on the return, coming down the near sideline to the 35-yard line. An outstanding athletic interception by Micah Kretzinger, the junior linebacker out of Jackson, Michigan.
And we'll come back again to the questionable idea of throwing the ball up 35-3. We did mention that Indy had not committed a turnover all season coming into today's game. That's their second one. 2 interceptions today for the Cardinal defense, so they have a little bit to hang their hats on when they get back in here in a few minutes in the locker room. That's a big turnover. It's big for confidence.
Gives SVSU the football all the way down at the Indianapolis 34-yard line. Taylor keeps it himself on the option and cannot turn upfield. Good job by Indianapolis defensively. That was KJ Rodebush, the linebacker, who made sure that nothing happened there. Cardinals hadn't shown much of that old school option where the quarterback keeps it and then rolls out and has a pitch man. That time Taylor kept it himself, but for no gain.
I think Taylor paid a bigger price than he would prefer to pay again on that option.
This time he's going to fire deep down the middle of the field, and it's intercepted by Indianapolis. It was a jump ball, and it was between Derek Hinton Jr. and Landry Mavungu, the defensive back for Indianapolis, and Mavungu won it. And so an interception by SVSU quickly matched by an interception from Indianapolis.
And you know what? That wasn't a terrible throw. It was a really good play by Mavungu. He went up and high-pointed that. Both he and the receiver were kind of fighting for it, and the defender won. It was a good catch. It was a pretty good play. The officials now trying to determine if his momentum carried him into the end zone or if they will mark it at the 1. And somehow they've determined that they're going to mark it at the 2.
They say that is where Mavungu caught it, and then Hinton Jr. tackled him in the end zone. But they are saying he caught it back at the 2, and so that is where Indianapolis will take over, and that's a little bit of a break for SVSU.
On a day where we are searching for silver linings, we'll take that little kindness.
Sukup from the shotgun. He's got Lewis at running back off his right hip.
Fairly quiet day for Lewis thus far.
He'll get the carry here, running between the tackles, gets out to the 5-yard line. Derek Thomason had checked in at linebacker. He was part of that tackle for SVSU. And now SVSU will rotate personnel. Brandon Rawls checks in at weak side linebacker. Mikey Woolridge checks in at safety for SVSU on 2nd and 6. And here, handoff to the left side. Lewis got to the 10, tripped up by Thomason, just short of the line to gain. Woolridge that time came up. He read the play, but he couldn't catch it up, or catch up to it, I should say, and that left an opening where, fortunately for the Cardinals, Thomason made the tackle.
Yeah, if he doesn't get that ankle, I believe you are still counting down yard lines on the way to the end zone. It was the last man in the gap.
So now 3rd and 1 for Indianapolis from their own 11-yard line. Pistol set this time. And Sukup will hand to Lewis. Well, he only needed a yard. He didn't get more than that. He might have gotten the yard he needed, and they say he did. Good job by SVSU up front, but Lewis only needed a yard that time, and that's exactly what he got. So clock continues to move, 2:24 to play 3rd quarter. It's been all Indianapolis since late in the 2nd quarter. They lead SVSU 35-3. Sukup taking his time here, dropping back, throws to the far side, and it is incomplete. He underthrew his intended target, and then Elijah Gordon almost caught up to the play and made a play. It did get through to Derek, but he could not haul it in.
And that's another illustration of what we were talking about earlier. Sukup rolling to his left is not an accurate thrower, does not have any strength in that arm going left. Going right is a different ball game, and that time was an off-balance effort to his left, and it bounced.
Stops the clock with 1:59 to play 3rd quarter. Sukup hands off here to Schlebach. Jacoby Sanders comes up to make the tackle in run support after a gain of about 5. So that time Jacoby Sanders, the cornerback to the near side, realized that they had all the receivers flow to the far side, so he stepped up almost to like a safety look and then did a good job to make that tackle.
Sanders now trying to get the crowd to make some noise. I don't know that he succeeded in that. The crowd's pretty quiet, but his sideline is lively. The team is in this. They're still trying to keep their energy up, keep their enthusiasm up. There's another quarter of football still to play.
Handoff to Schleybaugh. He's hit and will be brought down short of the line to gain. Alfred Daly Jr., the linebacker out of Toledo Catholic Central, making the play. And so Indianapolis gets 1 first down, but then the drive stalls, and SVSU will get the football back with less than a minute to play here in the third quarter. Derek Hinton Jr. deep to receive the punt. Indianapolis does have the wind at its back here in the third quarter. Good snap and a nice spiraling kick. Derek Hinton Jr. fields it at his own 35-yard line. Now makes one man miss. Gets across the 40 out to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line before he is finally brought down.
I'll be surprised, JJ, when we get to the fourth quarter if Chris Keevers has his starting quarterback continue in the game. They've got a lot to look forward to this season, and I don't think they're going to have to worry about the outcome of this game. I'm a big personal proponent of knowing how often players get injured and this keeping your starters safe. We'll see if Keevers, who has won 2 more Coaches of the Year than I have, we'll see if he agrees.
Jairus Grissom back at quarterback for the Cardinals on this possession as they take over at their own 46-yard line. Grissom hands to Brown, running to the left side, got maybe a yard on the play. Mavungu, who had the interception a moment ago, comes up and makes a nice play and run support for a gain of just a yard.
That play looked a little confused. The handoff and nobody was moving. I wondered if there was some trickeration coming up. There wasn't. There was just a 0-yard gain or a 1-yard gain.
On second down, handoff to Brown again. He struggles his way out to the 50-yard line. And so it will be third down from there when the fourth quarter begins. At the end of 3, it is Indianapolis leading SVSU 35-3. Back in a moment. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. J.J. Boehm, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium as we begin the fourth quarter. Indianapolis leading SVSU by a score of 35-3. SVSU will have it 3rd and 6 from right at midfield as the Cardinals try to see if they can get a little bit of momentum here in the fourth quarter that perhaps they can carry into GLIAC play, which opens next week when the Cardinals host Grand Valley.
And, JJ, the 3 words to remember for this fourth quarter are simple. Win the quarter. You're not going to win the game. We know that. Let's not be silly. But if you win the quarter, you take some sort of momentum into next week. So give it everything you've got for 15 minutes.
Grissom sacked. He was looking to the near side. Nobody was open. And before he could switch his eyes to the middle or the far side, he got hit from a rusher up the middle and dropped for a sack.
Yeah, that was Dylan Shelton, 6'1", 273, number 92. He came looping around, starting on the tackle end, came around to his left, and nobody touched him. And it did not take very long for him to remind Jairus Grissom of his presence and put an end to a drive that we were thinking might have some potential to it.
Ryan Hiker, the right-footed punter, will get away an end-over-end punt and it will be fielded inside the 10-yard line. That was Crowell on the punt return. Gets it out to the 16-yard line, and Indianapolis will take over there, and we'll see whether or not it remains Gavin Sukup at the controls for the Greyhounds offensively. Sukup, 11 of 20 passing, but those 11 completions have gone for 232 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Talk about making the most out of your completions. His stats when you get done later aren't going to look, tremendous, but the results are tremendous.
And he is still out there at quarterback, at least for this possession, with 14:10 to play in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis leading 35-3. Handoff here on first down, and that was a new running back that had checked in, Kellen Porter, transfer from Missouri State, Division I school at the FCS level, or Division I AA as they called it in the old days. No gain, so it is 2nd and 10 coming up for Indy. Sukup taking his time, drops back to pass here. And it's intercepted by Jaden Bevier. Jaden Bevier will take it the other way. Touchdown, Saginaw Valley. There is a penalty flag back at the 10-yard line. The officials are conferring. This is a big call. It's in the area where it's often offensive holding. Was that the call here?
Or roughing. Personal foul. That's too bad.
So it is roughing the passer on Harold Irby of SVSU. It wipes out a pick 6 for Jaden Bevier.
It's interesting about that call, JJ, is that the interception happened so quickly. It's not roughing the passer if the quarterback is now a defender. And I couldn't tell you whether or not it happened bang, bang like that, but obviously it's first down now at the 32-yard line, and when it rains, it pours on a sunny day in Saginaw.
So instead of a pick 6 for SVSU, it's a first down by penalty for Indianapolis. Wow. Hand off to Porter, and he struggles out to the 35-yard line for a gain of about 3.
And all the excitement, you thought maybe your first career TD is just a distant memory that you can talk about later, how you got robbed.
Cardinals already have 2 interceptions today.
Yep.
Eli Gordon's got one, and Micah Kretzinger has one.
That was easily the worst throw that Sukup has made today. He literally did not see the defender standing there. He threw it right into the number 7. Now, we could have another conversation about why they're throwing the ball, but we'll forego that for now.
Sukup from the pistol here. And he'll hand off to Porter, coming to the near side. Breaks one tackle, and then is brought down at about the 40-yard line by Dante Barthwell. So he will be short of the line to gain. Clock still moving, 12:22 to play here in the fourth quarter. It has been all Indy today, 35-3, leading SVSU.
And in that effort to win the quarter, here we have a third down and short. Perhaps a chance to get off the field for the defense.
3rd and 3 for Indy. Double tight end set, 2 receivers split wide to the right. Sukup from the pistol again. And he'll hand off to Porter. Breaks one tackle, and where are they going to spot this one? On the near side, it doesn't look like he got it.
No, I think he's about a yard short.
So they are going to mark him at the 41, needed the 42, so Indianapolis will send out the punt unit. And we'll see if SVSU can get something going to win this quarter. Again, Indianapolis will be punting into the wind here in the fourth. Cardinals back home next Saturday when they host Grand Valley. That'll be a 6 o'clock kick under the lights here at Wick Stadium. Knuckling kick to the near side. Derek Hinton fields it. Did not call for a fair catch. Does hold on despite being hit almost immediately by Jerry Addo Baiting.
I have to appreciate the effort by Hinton, but there's something called self-preservation at this point, and the fair catch would have been very understandable since he caught that in such heavy traffic.
See if SVSU can get something going offensively. They have had some success moving the ball today, but just 3 points to show for it. Mike O'Horo checks in now at quarterback. SVSU has rotated all three in this game. Have not found one that has been able to really keep the offense going consistently. Handoff here to Tyler Amos off the left side, picks up about 4.
Well, later on, when you break down the film of this, I think if you're looking for consistently successful offensive plays, it's been the run off left tackle. Because any attempt to throw the ball has not given any time to your quarterback, whichever one of the three is in the game. They really haven't had a very good opportunity to set up, read the defense, and complete the pass. It's been a really, really big defensive effort on the part of Indy today.
And that time they go on the designed quarterback run, but Indianapolis is not fooled, and O'Horo is dropped for no gain. So now going to be 3rd and 6 coming up for SVSU. Cardinals will line up with 2 receivers split wide to the left. Now O'Horo brings his tight end Williams in motion to the near side. Play action. O'Horo rolling to his left. He's going to fire to that side. And a leaping catch by Kevin Swift out at the 47-yard line.
Kevin Swift at 6'2", used all 6'2" and a little bit more to go up and get that one. Excellent catch. Good throw to the sidelines. That is not an easy throw to make, especially when you're rolling left.
Again, I thought maybe that one had sailed a little bit too much. Again, SVSU throwing with the wind here in this quarter, but Swift went up high to get it. That was a nice catch and a big conversion on 3rd down. Here, play action. O'Horo forced out of the pocket, rolling to his right. Has time. He's going to look for Sanders, and it is batted down, and now the penalty flag does come in as the safety for Indianapolis, Michael Brown, reached right through Ernest Sanders to break up that pass.
Just got the arm wrapped around. And by the way, how about the arm on the back, Judge? The yellow flag thrown from about the 15, crossed the field, landed almost exactly on the spot. Very, very impressive toss. Probably a few BB pellets in that flag to weigh it down. But as far as flag throwing mechanics go, well done.
Well, and there's a flag on the far side of the field right at the line of scrimmage as well. So there are 2 fouls.
So we're going to offset then probably with a motion penalty of some sort.
Or it's Indianapolis lined up off sides.
Yeah, we'll see.
If that's the case, then it is an illegal formation. So this is an illegal formation on SVSU. Kevin Swift, the wide receiver to the near side, was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. He was too far behind the line, so he was considered in the backfield. You can't have 5 players in the offensive backfield. That's the call, and it wipes out what looks like what would have been a first down by pass interference against Indianapolis. Fouls offset, so it's 1st and 10 all over again. Indianapolis leading in the football game, 35-3, 9:13 to play 4th quarter. Here, handoff up the middle to Amos. Got to midfield, so a gain of 2.
You take those little snapshots like a formation penalty and offsides on a kickoff earlier and those kind of things. That really will. I mean, coaches put in super long hours. They are tired. They prepare for everything, and then you get those, and it just drives you batty.
2nd and 8. O'Horo rolling to his right. Now he's going to throw it underneath for his tight end, DeBrincat. And it's a short completion. We've also got 2 penalty flags again. one along the near sideline, one across the far sideline. So one is going to be ineligible man downfield.
Yep.
And then we'll see what it is on the far side.
The ineligible receiver downfield comes when your linemen think that the quarterback is going to take off and run. And it's an understandable penalty. It's a tough one. Apparently both flags were for the same infraction.
And Indianapolis declines the penalty. So it was a short gain on the play.
I'm surprised they declined it, to be honest with you.
It does set up third down. It's going to be 3rd and about 4 for SVSU. I'm a little surprised as well. So 2 receivers split wide to either side, 3rd and 4. O'Horo, quarterback keeper up the middle, stays on his feet, dives forward, and picks up the first down. So it does keep the drive alive. And we'll see if SVSU can get some points on the board here in the 4th quarter. In the first half, Cardinals got inside the Indianapolis 30-yard line on 3 separate occasions, but had just that one field goal to show for it.
Well, O'Horo moving the ball, and that has not happened a lot this game.
Play action coming to the near side, batted down. He was looking for Derek Bryant, and Mavungu, who already has 1 interception today, almost got a second one.
You know, for the defense, the best way to increase your chances of success is to force them to guess where the ball's going. In that particular play, the Cardinals just had 1 receiver downfield. That was it. Everybody else was staying in. It makes it a little easier for the secondary to know what they have to protect against, and that's what Mavungo did. He just kind of read the play, went over, and knocked her down.
Here, handoff to Johnson. He's tripped up at the line. Did fall forward for a short gain. Good job by the safety for Indianapolis that time, Michael Brown. If he misses that tackle, it's going for a big gain. He did make the tackle. And so now it's 3rd and 5. Here, handoff coming to the near side to Nick Johnson. He falls forward, takes a big hit as he goes down. So it's going to be 4th and short coming up. Brown finished the tackle. Johnson actually got tripped up a little before that. So it's going to be 4th and at least a full yard, maybe 4th and just a yard plus for SVSU, but the Cardinals will go for it. O'Horo fakes the pitch, comes to the near side. He's got the first down and more as he goes out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
Move the chains, keep it alive. Again, the mantra, win the quarter.
Cardinals have moved the ball on this drive, taken a lot of time off the clock. We'll see if they can put some points on the board, trailing 35-3. 3 receivers split wide to the right this time. O'Horo has time, throws to the near side. Is that caught? Yes, nice catch by Aaron Folks along the near sideline. He did get a foot down. So O'Horo has made some nice completions.
Yeah, there's some momentum on this possession for sure. Interestingly enough, Indy is not paying any attention to the Cardinals' tight end.
O'Horo tosses to Johnson, coming to the near side here, bounces off one would-be tackler and gets down inside the 15-yard line. That will move the chains.
If Mitchell DeBrincat keeps crossing the middle of the field unattended, I would expect that O'Horo might see big 8-9 wide open, because for some reason India's just decided to key on other players.
O'Horo back to pass here.
He's wide open.
He's got wide open. It is DeBrincat, and then it is underthrown.
You got to get the ball there.
DeBrincat was open, and if O'Horo throws it either A, sooner, or B, farther, that one would go for a touchdown.
When the ball was released, DeBrincat was wide open, and that ball just kind of moved in slow motion getting over that way. But maybe now they'll have to pay more attention to him. But to this point, DeBrincat has been kind of flying under the radar, so to speak.
Well, you can also now, I noticed the wind has shifted somewhat. It was more from a left to right wind. Now it also has switched to where it is more from the far sideline to the near sideline. That probably held up the pass a little bit as well. 2nd and 10. O'Horo forced out of the pocket, rolling to his right. Stiff arms a man, finds his tight end down near the 10-yard line. That is DeBrincat with the catch.
Cardinals very fortunate that the hold was not called. It kept O'Horo and that play going. We'll take what we can get. Moving down now inside of 5.5 minutes and knocking on the door of the end zone.
Cardinals taking their time, getting the play call in here. It'll be 3rd and 5. Johnson stays in at running back for SVSU. And now O'Horo coming up and changing the play. And he now goes on a reverse, and here comes Folks along the near sideline, and I don't think he got the line to gain. Folks had a full head of steam, but he didn't have a lot of real estate to the near side, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 7, so he'll be 2 yards short.
And they bring in some more speed. They take DeBrincat out of the lineup and now have 4 receivers on the field.
They'll actually mark Folks out of bounds back at the 8. And now Chris Keevers comes running down the sidelines. The Indianapolis head coach, he'll call timeout. Probably recognize they didn't have the right personnel in after SVSU made that switch. And so they'll stop the clock. 35-3 our score. Indianapolis in the lead, 4:40 to play, 4th quarter. And this is just one of those situations where if you're SVSU, you would love to get a score and get a little bit of momentum heading into next week against Grand Valley.
Man, that Grand Valley game brings back some memories for me, JJ. We, back in the day, back when electricity first came about and then the radio was invented. And
didn't you broadcast with Marconi?
Yes, we did. Personally, yes. Mar Arner Coney. And, man, we had some epic battles with those teams back in the day. And there was a very unusual pregame show where I shared the dream that I had had the night before. It was a pizza-fueled dream on Friday night that the Cardinals were going to win the game 46-42 on a 47-yard field goal that I would catch, which was possible because I would leave the booth to go down and do interviews. That's how the game ended. And I caught the ball, and somebody sent the tape to Sports Illustrated, and they wrote about it, and I have it up on my office wall. So I always have this long-term memory of the Grand Valley game.
See if the Cardinals can make a little bit of a memory here.
That was my only old man story of the day, I promise.
4th and 3 for the Cardinals from the Indy 8-yard line. O'Horo back to pass. Rolling. He throws it up. It's batted around and incomplete.
That was the Sukup play.
Yeah.
That was O'Horo rolling to the sidelines, jump passing, throwing it back into the middle of the field. And that one ended like they're all supposed to end, with nothing good happening.
That time, it's 4th down. O'Horo's got to try to make something happen. Yes, he threw it into a crowd. He did have 2 red shirts down there who at least had a chance to make a play on the ball. And so Indianapolis takes over on downs. And it is still Sukup out there at quarterback for Indianapolis. They've got a fresh running back in there as Lenny Bennett checks in. And he'll get the carry running between the tackles. Stood up for maybe a yard gain on the play.
I have always viewed moments like this in the 4th quarter of a game as being player development moments, where I understand there's some benefit to keeping your starters going, but also protecting them, but also seeing what you have on your bench, or maybe giving a little feel to those guys that have been working hard in practice and giving them a few minutes. That's a different quarterback in as well. I didn't see the 13 instead of 3.
So now Luke Keller, the 3rd-string quarterback on the depth chart, has checked in. And he will hand it off, and Timothy Alonso Jr. read that one well and will make the tackle for loss. So Luke Keller, a redshirt senior, out of Zionsville, Indiana, in suburban Indianapolis, transfer from Hillsdale, has checked in at quarterback.
I think it's smart. On every possible level, to get your bench players a little experience, a little game time. You never know when you might need them in an important moment.
Third and 12 now. And it's a handoff again to the near side. Not enough for the first down, as that was Xavier Chasen, who had checked in at defensive line for SVSU, tackling Bennett. So SVSU getting a lot of people with some extra opportunities. Xavier Chasen, a 6'1", 265-pound redshirt freshman out of Waterford Mott High School. So Indianapolis will punt it as we're inside 2.5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, let's see what special teams can bring here. So far, it's a scoreless fourth.
High, short, knuckling kick, and it takes a sideways hop, now comes back towards the line of scrimmage. Indianapolis will down it at their own 49-yard line, and so SVSU will take over there. And Jairus Grissom will come out for SVSU to lead the Cardinals on this possession. 2:13 to play. And we'll see, as you said, win the quarter. Still 2:13 for the Cardinals to try to do something with it.
I mean, honestly, you would almost want to treat this like a 2-minute drill. You've got your 3 timeouts.
And here, handoff to Johnson. Gets a couple of yards before he's stacked up.
A reminder that Grissom had played 16 plays back in the opening game of the season before being tackled from behind and injured, and today marks his return. So he's got some kinks to work out as well.
Rolling to his right here, and it's thrown and caught. Sam Dursa makes the catch, and that will be enough for the first down. Good job that time. Grissom rolling to his right, and he had Williams underneath, and then he had Dursa behind him. He found Dursa open, and the Cardinals convert. Grissom back to pass here, looking to the near side. He's got Johnson open. Late penalty flag comes in. So the pass is caught by his running back. Ernest Sanders is pleading his case, and I wonder if he's going to get called for blocking downfield before the pass was caught.
I've seen the field judge now point both directions, and I'm not really sure where he's headed with this one. That flag came in a little bit late and from way back in the secondary.
Minute 26 to play. Indy leading 35-3. Yeah, so the second one, I think they were calling Ernest Sanders for blocking before the ball was caught.
Fair, and then somebody else had taken off downfield too early. So they had a couple of infractions pile up on them that time.
So now it's going to be 1st and 25.
Wow, that escalated
SVSU,
quickly.
As they're all the way back to midfield.
And they'll start the clock again.
Grissom throws to the far side, caught by Swift, and he is going to get back to the original line of scrimmage plus a little before he goes out of bounds.
It's a pretty good move, little hook route, and then he turned it right around, headed to the sidelines to stop the clock. Still 3 timeouts for the Cardinals. Had to bite back a chunk of that penalty yardage there, so a job well done on 1st and a mile.
Got out of bounds, so it does stop the clock with 1:13 to play. Grissom throws to the far side, caught by Johnson. He gets knocked out of bounds after a short gain. And, boy, I'll tell you what, that Indianapolis sideline is fired up.
Yeah, they're into this.
This is going to be a very impressive road win for them.
Yeah.
Coming into this one, number 16 in the country for Division II football is Indianapolis, but to come in here and win as convincingly as they have is certainly going to get some people's attention.
The sidelines has no interest in giving up more points. That's clear.
Grissom.
Right in the middle of the field.
He's got a man open. It's Williams, and he makes the catch down to the 10-yard line. And so Cardinals are going to give themselves an opportunity to score here before the end of the game.
And you might be able to kind of get the idea that the tight end could become a little more active part of the Cardinal offensive scheme based on what we've seen in the fourth quarter. At least Indy has not done a good job of covering the tight end.
Grissom looking to the near side, looking for Sanders. Incomplete. It got through to him initially, but then a good job by Deshaun Harewood to break up the pass.
Pretty good coverage down there in the corner. You just try that back pylon throw and see if your receiver can go up and get it.
Well, Sanders did a good job to get both hands on it, but
Yeah.
then Harewood, the defensive back, just did what you're taught to do. Reach one arm in between those two hands and rip it
And
free.
just rip.
Stops the clock, 2nd and 10, 50 seconds to play in the game. Grissom, back to pass here, has lots of time. Rolling to his right, fires to the near side, and it's caught. Touchdown, Saginaw Valley, Kevin Swift.
Good patience by Grissom. There was nothing open early, and he didn't panic. He didn't try to force something in. He waited for a receiver to break free, and Swift found kind of the front right corner of the end zone. Cardinals going to win the fourth quarter unless something bizarre happens in the final 43 seconds. So that's good to see. That's a good rally here in the last few minutes, a good positive moment.
Kick is on the way, and it is good. So it's now 35-10, Indianapolis on top. 43 seconds to play. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football.
I'm guessing you don't dare onside kick here, right? You're not gonna,
I wouldn't.
Not going to be that silly, because then they might just throw it.
J.J. Boehm, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where Jairus Grissom finds Kevin Swift for a late touchdown. The kick to Indianapolis is fair caught by Caney. That'll bring it out to the 25-yard line, and Indianapolis will have to snap it twice before they can head south with a hard-earned and impressive road victory over SVSU today.
You know, to their credit, it has been impressive. This has not been fluky. Yeah, the Cardinals had a lot of self-inflicted wounds when it comes to penalties and some defensive lapses, but they played a really good team today, and I would not be surprised to see this Indy team stay on a hot run. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, who they're going to run into, but if this isn't a playoff team, I'll be very surprised.
Well, in that conference, Indianapolis and Truman State, who the Cardinals lost to last week, they're a cut above the rest of that league. And so they meet in mid-October, and that, for all intents and purposes, likely will decide who wins that league. Truman State today already got a win on the road over Wayne State as well. So those two teams likely headed for what I would imagine will be a conference championship deciding contest in mid-October. That is the final second of the game, and it is now a final score. Indianapolis over Saginaw Valley, 35-10. Back in a moment. You are listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. All right, we'll just do one wrap-up segment here then. You can give us return audio again. Thank you. J.J. Boehm, Bill Hobson back at Wick Stadium, where Indianapolis gets a win on the road over the Cardinals, 35-10, your final score today. It was a 14-3 game until late in the second quarter when Indianapolis got a touchdown with 3:55 to play in the second quarter. Schlebach ran it in from 4 yards out to cap off a 9-play, 80-yard drive. And then Indianapolis got another touchdown with 4 seconds to play in the half to make it 28-3. And the Greyhounds never really looked back after that, as SVSU got one first down but couldn't do any more coming out of the locker room. And then on their first offensive play of the second half, Indianapolis went up top to Alonzo Derrick, and he was able to go 70 yards for the touchdown. And that was the last time Indianapolis scored, but it was also the last time Indianapolis needed to score, as they would make that stand up for a 35-10 final score.
And kudos to them. You know, you look at the stat line of their quarterback, Gavin Sukup, and 11 of 20 for 232. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Nobody's going to be raving about that on a conference-wide level, but he was really effective, got the job done. When they needed the scores, he delivered. Running game was strong. Schlebach was 67 yards, Lewis with 55. On the SVSU side of things, Jairus Grissom, 13 of 23 for 141 and a touchdown there at the end. And in the running game, Terrence Brown, 11 carries of 45 yards. This was really a battle, JJ, that was won by Indy up front. They controlled the line of scrimmage all day, and they largely avoided the debilitating penalties that really in that first half, I think, told the story of the inability of Saginaw Valley to get any sustained momentum going. And by the time we got to halftime, it was kind of in the books.
I think that was certainly penalties were a key part of it. I think the fumble by Grissom
Yeah,
down
it's
at
tough.
the 20-yard line of Indianapolis when it looked like the Cardinals were driving and had a chance to make it a one-score game again. They were only trailing 14-3 at that point. That was another self-inflicted mistake for SVSU, and unfortunately, against a good team like Indianapolis, you make those. They capitalized. It was right after that Indianapolis put together that 9-play, 80-yard drive to then go on top 21-3. And again, it was all Greyhounds from that point forward.
Well, the Cardinals now regroup.
Yep.
They take, I guess, a little bit of hope, a little bit of momentum out of the final quarter of the game where they were able to punch it in. But they're going to be running into a team next week that is not messing around. Grand Valley loves to come into this place. They don't fear Wicks Stadium. They're a national contender. And when they roll into here, you've got to have your A game or it's going to be a long evening next Saturday. So real challenge for Coach Brady and the team this week is to get the pieces put back together and get ready for a really good opponent.
Grand Valley will come calling for Battle of the Valleys next Saturday night. Will be a 6 o'clock kick out here at Wick Stadium. Also want to remind all of our SVSU faithful that the fundraising will continue as SVSU students this week will be raising funds for Camp Fishtails, which is a great facility up in Pinconning. Creates a lot of opportunities for youth to get introduced to not only fishing but also other outdoor recreation opportunities. So make sure you participate in the fundraising activities this coming week as SVSU students will be raising money for Camp Fishtails as Battle of the Valley 2023. So for Matt back at our WSGW FM studios and my broadcast partner today, Bill Hobson, this is JJ Bain saying so long. The final score today, Indianapolis wins over Saginaw Valley 35-10. We thank you for listening to Saginaw Valley State University football. All right, good job, Matt. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Well, this could have at least made it more competitive.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
Well, you know, it's interesting because you can just, I mean, the talent level, there's no great talent disparity between these two teams, but better execution, and then you get momentum, and all of a sudden, you know, it can get away from you quick.
It ran away big time.
So,
Can I help with anything?
no, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, all I do is pack it back and leave it here. So, but yeah, I mean, it's now by the same token, you know, you come back next week if you can put it all together against Grand Valley. You know, all of a sudden you can get things turned back around. But
I didn't see anything today that led me to believe they're going to score 20 points next week.
well, I mean, the one thing you know you can see all season, they don't get great quarterback play from anyone three. Now, this Mason McKenzie, who's redshirting this year, he's a kid who you never would have gotten at the Division II level before the transfer portal. He is probably the best high school quarterback in the state of Michigan last year from Caledonia. I mean, and he'd have been a kind of player, you know, but nobody does that anymore. You know? So now he's redshirting, but you know the kid who Ferris rode a lot last season was a redshirt freshman. You know, now again, this is even more than what I'm accustomed to seeing from Ferris. But under Tony V's, like they routinely play at least two quarterbacks throughout the game, and they'll shuttle them back and forth. You know, like even when they had Jairo Campbell, who was contending for the Harlan Hill and everything, you know, he'd go out there and all of a sudden, you know, third series, fourth series, whatever is predetermined, the backup quarterback would come in, you know, and they'd run everything with that guy. So I know that's what Ryan is used to as well, but they're going to have to find somebody who can get this offense going consistently because, you know, Northwood's not very good, but Winona State is, but it was just SVSU, you know, controlled the running game and they couldn't stop the running game. Well, now teams have figured out, okay, we're going to throw everything to make you beat us running the football and see if you can beat us passing, and they haven't been able to do that often enough. So,
Well, either they get their act together or next week's going to get
It could. Now, let me tell you. I watched some of the Grand Valley game against Colorado State football. Doggone it, like they couldn't stop them.
Oh, really?
That game, it went double overtime, but what was it, like 56-49 or something like that? Yeah, so now, that could totally be different next week, obviously. And they've had 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to, and this one will not be a fun one to break down on film because you're just going to see a lot. Well, now, defensively, what do you do? Do you tell your guy? I mean, how do you, are you going to start teaching your DBs to play differently? Because no other quarterback's going to do what Suka does. But you got to stay with your guy.
You can't leave your receiver, but yeah, you're right. You think the play is over.
That's very unusual.
Do you want me to do next week's game, or do you have some?